He drives it to deep left field. To the wall goes Jordan. It is gone. Barry Bonds hits a 3-run home run, and it is 5-1 Giants. And Kevin Brown has been put to the test, and he is failing. So Barry Bonds, who hit 73 of them last year, hits a towering drive into the seats in left center field, and that gives the Giants a high five. On the hands and how quick he is to turn on it. Pulls it down the right field line, but foul. Same area, he hit another one, and it hit the foul pole. So Barry Bonds hits the foul pole in the right field corner for his second home run. 2 home runs and a single, and he's off and running for 2002.
And Lopez is ready. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ellis hits one in the air toward right.
He can't find it.
And out there in right field, Gibbons can't see it. And it is a fair ball.
Run!
Ellis thought it was a foul ball. A run scores. When the ball went up, nobody saw it. Gibbons couldn't see it. Ellis couldn't see it. A run will score. It's going to go as a single.
First base umpire Chuck Merriweather was running down the line with his hands over his head because he didn't want to get hit. I don't think he could see the ball.
All right, happy opening day week for everybody here. That was 2003, Matt. Remember it was snowing at Camden Yards?
Yes, I do remember that.
I was watching when I got home from work or from school, and it was snowing, and you couldn't even see the ball.
Yep.
So I guess they had to suspend it for like a couple of minutes or so. So and it was one of those snow squalls that showed up. You know, it was not even on the map. It just showed up. Yeah.
Well, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, exactly. We started a little early tonight at 7:15 because we're going to talk Chesapeake Bay Sox baseball. So, Adam, you want to bring them in?
Sure. Well, we all know that opening day for Major League Baseball is this week. Well, minor league baseball gets underway in a couple weeks, and joining us now to talk about some action from the Orioles minor league. One of the good Orioles minor league teams is Andre Magro, who does the play-by-play for the Chesapeake Bay. He's the voice of the Chesapeake Bay Sox. Andre, always a pleasure to have you on, good sir. What are you looking forward to the most this year? Being the voice of the Chesapeake Bay Sox.
Yeah, guys, thank you for having me here tonight. You know, it's a very big week in the baseball world, as y'all have emphasized. So we definitely appreciate you chiseling out some time and some love for the minor leagues as well. You know, it's funny because obviously the big leagues get started here in a couple of days. We're getting started this week as well. I know you guys are probably going to talk about that here as the interview goes on, but we have an exciting opportunity for the team to break camp in Salisbury. To take on the Delmarva Shorebirds, who are the Orioles single A affiliate. It's going to be exhibitions this weekend. Kind of nice because the first game is on that Friday, which is a built-in off day for the Orioles after their opener. So we kind of get a little a standalone opportunity there to put some spotlight on some of those minor league teams, and then obviously they have the matinee on Sunday as well. So that'll be a little different for us, obviously, and it'll be really exciting to get to interact and be a part of that and get to go down there to Salisbury and kind of show some love across the farm. And I think to answer your question, kind of the thing that I'm most excited for is just to kind of get off and running here. There's a lot of excitement. There is every season, but for us as well, just to kind of get out and going. It'll be a fun group of guys again, I'm sure. And it's kind of fun right now to see what's going on and the buzz across Birdland, because you have the big league club, which obviously has generated a lot of excitement in this offseason. And then you have all the excitement that's still there on the farm system with the way the guys have been performing at spring training and the World Baseball Classic and then a lot of these offseason events. We have a lot of really strong arms. Our break camp roster came out today with guys that have performed really highly at this level, that are some very highly talented prospects and have even showed out in the WBC. So there's a lot of excitement there. And lastly, too, even outside of the baseball, with the improvements that are in Prince George's Stadium, ready to go for the fans and for player development alike with the new clubhouse facility. There's really a lot to be excited about as we get off the ground here.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the roster. Who's going to be down in Bowie this year? Because I know the Orioles had a great spring training with all the different people. You got Pete Alonso came from the Mets. So he's basically at first base. And who's going to be down in Bowie? Maybe there to start the season, but hopefully by the end of the year they might be there, or they might be in Norfolk.
Yeah, so just kind of taking a look at some guys that came out on the initial break camp list today. We can start with the pitching, because obviously I talked about that a little bit. Luis De Leon is one of those names that has garnered a lot of attention, a top 5 prospect in the system per MLB.com. He's top 100 in Baseball America. Really good left-handed starting pitcher that came up and had a handful of starts with the Bay Sox at the tail end of last year and put up really good numbers. Still very, very young as well, and had a really strong Arizona Fall League at the conclusion of last year. Came in, had a couple of games in spring training and continues to look sharp. Outside of that, the pitching has been strong up and down the farm. There are a couple of guys that I think are really interesting in the bullpen as well. Tyson Neighbors was one of the guys that the Orioles organization got back in the Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn trade with the Padres. He looked really good for the Bay Sox last year, only allowed 1 earned run in his last month of the season with the Bay Sox. Mm-hmm. And then some couple of guys, too, that maybe aren't necessarily on the prospect rankings everywhere that I think are really interesting. Micah Ashman, a lefty in the bullpen that pitched really well in the WBC for Team Canada. And then outside of that, Ryan Long, who is a guy that has started games for the Bay Sox and now has started to come out of the bullpen. He pitched for Team Great Britain in the World Baseball Classic and also got to pitch in one of those exhibition games at Camden Yards against the Nationals. And his fastball was ticked up as he's kind of settled into life as a reliever, and he has some really good off-speed offerings as well. So a lot of really exciting pitchers. And then in the fielding respect, obviously there's been a lot of buzz around some of the guys that are still in the lower levels of the minor leagues, like the spring training that Vance Honeycutt has had and some of those guys from this past year's draft class. But as far as folks that are going to be breaking camp with the Bay Sox, Aaron Estrada is a guy that's super young, still 21 years of age, really, really good bat-to-ball skills. He was a non-roster invitee at spring training this year that showed some great stuff, both offensively and defensively for the big league team and in that spring breakout game. Tomas Sosa is another young international signing that has a lot of power. Griffo Farrell and Ethan Anderson, two guys that were taken from the University of Virginia a couple years ago that have started to show out at the AA level. So it should be a really, really exciting group, and that's just a few names to highlight going into the season.
Adam, you have a good question for him?
Yeah, so going back to Vance Honeycutt, he was a star at the University of North Carolina when he was there in Chapel Hill. So just talk about when he's with the Bay Sox, what does he bring, to help the team out, both offense and defense?
Yeah, I'm really excited to get to watch Vance play. Obviously, he's breaking camp in one of the lower levels here just to start this season. But obviously, he was somebody that garnered a lot of attention at spring training after the great performance that he put together. He's just a really fun guy to watch play baseball, right? The power, the speed, the athleticism in the outfield, the catches that he makes, and again the homers. He obviously hit a bunch in spring training. Now he gets to go to that new affiliate in Frederick and keep it going, and hopefully we'll be seeing him really soon.
Yeah. Talk about your manager. He spent time in Aberdeen. I had a chance to talk to him. Now he's been there for a couple of years. What was it like working with him every day, behind the scenes?
Yeah, Roberto is awesome. He keeps a great leader of that clubhouse, and he is super good and super awesome to work with. Always just a well of baseball information, always talking game and always kind of just doing everything that we need from a media standpoint and helping us out. And again, just a super great guy to work with, super friendly. Won't meet anybody nicer in the game. So he's been a real joy to work with, and it's I'm blessed to have him up there in Chesapeake for as long as we've had him.
Yeah. Matt, you have a question for him?
Yeah. So a few minutes ago, you mentioned all these key players, like a whole list of them. So who would be the top 2 key players that would have the biggest impact?
Oh man, I can't really name just 2. I mean, I would just go off of that list just to start. There's a lot of really exciting young guys coming in through the farm system. Like I said, a lot of buzz has been generated with some of the draft picks in recent years, and understandably so. A guy, Enrique Bradfield, that played for the Bay Sox each of the past 2 seasons, has had a strong spring and been making an impact and pushing for a spot in Baltimore. But yeah, even so, some of those names I mentioned coming from the international signings as well. I think Samuel Basayo kind of started this new era for the Orioles and kind of headlined it with the investment that they've been making into their international signings and their development in that part of the farm system as well. And we're really starting to see some of that come up here with guys like De Leon and Sosa at AA and throughout the rest of the levels of the farm system as well.
Yeah. I was looking at the cool events you're going to have. You're going to have Banana Ball there, and I was watching it over the weekend in San Diego on their YouTube channel. And I got to say, they play a very decent baseball, but it's kind of more dance show and dance down. I know I'm an old school baseball guy, and I think Matt's the same guy too. But if we caught somebody dancing down the bases path to go to the batter's box, we'd probably go and drill them. Because we didn't like it back in that day. But what was it like having the Banana Ball coming to Bowie this year for 2 games? And is the parking all set up? Is the traffic because traffic's going to be a nightmare in that area?
Yeah, it's a blessing, and it's really cool to get to have experiences like that inside of Prince George's Stadium. And I think it's a testament to the folks that have invested in that place and in our organization, like our ownership group at Attain Sports, the folks at MNC PPC, who obviously help oversee the stadium, and then the Maryland Stadium Authority that have brought in all of these upgrades across the board. When you talk about player development facilities to the new announcements that we just made a couple weeks ago with some of the new fan-facing amenities that are coming in this season. There's a brand new board when you walk into the stadium, a welcoming board. There's drink rails and ADA seating that are coming in as well to the seating bowl, a brand new in-ground kids park. So a lot of really cool stuff going into the stadium, and I think it really pays off when you get investments and you get opportunities like this for Banana Ball, which is something that obviously has grown wildly popular and generated a lot of excitement across the sports world and across the entertainment world in general. So it should be a lot of fun, and I know we're really excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. Adam, you have another question?
Yeah, sure. So looking at some of your promotions, I noticed you guys have Wolf Wednesdays up, and I know it's like your version of Bark in the Park. So just talk about having families come and bring in their dogs on Wednesday nights, to enjoy a good minor league baseball game.
Yeah, you got it. Absolutely. So it's our Wednesday night home games. So sometimes early in the season we'll have some 11:05 games sprinkled in the middle of the week for some field trips as well. So can't bring your dogs out to those Wednesday games, but the Wednesday night home games, like you said, you get an opportunity to bring your dog out with the family as long as it has proper vaccination records and is properly leashed. It gets to come out to the ballpark and join in and all the excitement. So definitely one of my favorite nights throughout the week as well, getting to see all the dogs roaming around through the seating bowl, and they always seem to have a pretty good time as well. So it's certainly one of the exciting ones in there.
Yeah, and also I like your read and hit a home run reading program. Really good for all the youngsters around Chesapeake. I like, you've got some autograph sessions, and also you have STEM Day. For people who don't know what STEM Day is, tell us about it.
Yeah, so that's a good segue for us because we were talking about those earlier starts that happened through the week as well. So essentially, a STEM Day is an opportunity, and teams do this around minor league baseball, but our crew does a really good job with it. It's an earlier start time throughout the week, and it's an opportunity for schools to come out and take in some baseball in the midweek, and also have an opportunity for an educational experience as well up on the concourse. So we'll have different STEM activities from different groups and organizations on the concourse, and we'll also have a packet that the schools that buy group tickets and come out to the game get to get an educational opportunity as well on the concourse while the baseball game is going on. So it really becomes a full circle field trip experience for the schools, and I know our crew works really, really hard to book those and get the opportunity to make it a holistic experience.
That's cool. Well, Andre, I appreciate you joining us tonight. We're up against the clock, but I hope to see you Sunday. I'm trying to get down to Salisbury if we can, if the Shorebirds hear us. We'd love to be there. We'll watch that 7-inning exhibition game. If not, I'll try to catch up with you during the season. Okay.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Okay.
Yep. See ya. Take care, guys.
I say bye. All right, that's Andre Mangro, who covers the Chesapeake Bay Sox. It used to be called the Bowie Bay Sox, but they changed. They rebranded last year. So
it's called. I remember when it was the Bowie Bay Sox in the Eastern League.
Yeah, I remember Bowie Bay Sox used to play at the old 33rd Street when the Orioles were moved downtown, and Will and I had a chance, and my brothers and I had a chance to see Mike Messina do a rehab assignment.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and Will got his autograph for Mike Messina back in the day. So that was
cool. Love it.
He got tore up by Frank Thomas. We talk about that another time. Yeah. I actually asked him one time on the conference call when he got inducted in the Hall of Fame. I asked him, who was the toughest batter you ever faced? He's like, man, Frank Thomas always destroyed me. I don't know what I could pitch over that plate. He still hit it out. I'm like, damn. Because I remember some of the shots he hit him. Big Hurt. So anyway, speaking of Big Hurt, We're going to get on the phone here. We have Garrett Meadows. He's from Springfield, Virginia. He is bowling in the United States Bowling Masters out there in Allen Park, Michigan. So let's bring him on the Herbie telephone line. So Garrett, thanks for joining us this evening. Thank you for joining us from Michigan. How was the first day of bowling in the Masters?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a good experience. This is my second year bowling the Masters, and I didn't really have the performance that I wanted to last year. But coming in, I felt more prepared. The strategies that I tried to use this year make a little bit more sense to me. And honestly, I'm glad to be able to have the opportunity to come out and do this, compete with the best in the world, and be able to put up a solid performance, because it makes me think that, well, I actually can compete with them. So we'll give it another good run tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, right now you're in 6 after the A squad and the B squad. The C squad is bowling as we speak right now. So just talk about this morning. It was a fresh oil for you guys. You were like the first ones on the lanes for the evening for the competition. What was different this morning when you guys probably had to? You practiced early yesterday, so it must be the same practice facility pretty much on the lanes.
Yeah, so anytime that the oil pattern is laid out over itself, it'll slightly change. And what ended up happening is they start to get a little bit tighter. The bowling balls start to hook a little less. And what actually happened is I ended up watching the other 2 practice sessions after getting done with mine. Mm-hmm. And we went in with that sort of game plan. And after watching them, realized I may need a little bit more surface on my bowling balls to help them read the lane a little bit better. And I just wanted to keep the bowling ball in play, not put myself in a position to have a bad game, and just use all of the tools that I have trained with over the last however many years to put a solid number. And fortunately, I was able to get matched up on the lanes and really see what was going on, have clear pictures. And a quick shout out to Bowl U International. None of this would be possible without the training that I've learned from them. They've taught me to really open my eyes to look at it a different way, be artistic, and be creative with my choices. So I would say that a big part of my success this morning was attributed to that.
Yeah. Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah, so growing up, did you have a favorite star on the PBA tour you like to watch?
Yeah, there was a couple guys that come to mind. I was always a fan of Bill O'Neill and Norm Duke. They always were guys that really did with finesse. They never really tried to overpower anything. They were shot makers, and the strategy that they tried to use really matched up with the type of style they had. They really understood themselves, and that's kind of the approach that I've tried to take into this. I don't throw it any special way. But I like to say that, like, my eyes allow me to do things that sometimes people won't necessarily consider. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes me kind of unique in that sense, and that gives me a little bit of an edge over some people sometimes.
Yeah. Matt, you have a question for him? Yeah, I do. Matt. Go ahead, bud.
Matt, you're muted.
Matt, you're muted. Yeah. I don't know where he is, Garrett. Hold on, bud. Hold on.
I have another question for him. So Garrett, what's it? A squad. This morning featured. You had Jason Belmonte, Dom Barrett, AJ Johnson, Tom Doherty, among others. So, what was it like for you to be alongside some of the greats on the PBA tour this morning?
Yeah, it's always cool. As you grow up, you get to watch a lot of those guys on TV, and as you start to be able to compete with them, you get to see a different side of it as a competitor. But something that I try to make sure when I'm out here competing with them is, as much as I admire what they've done for the sport, at that moment in time, they're my competitors. So I view them as just anyone else, because if I start to get too starstruck, it can turn into I'm not focused on myself, I'm focused on what's going around me, and that eventually is going to end up hurting my score. So while it is really cool being able to compete against some of the people that have carved like their names in the history books, at the end of the day, if I'm focused on myself and what I'm able to do, I know that I can compete with them.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow you bowl at 6:30 in the evening, so you basically have a whole full day off of getting yourself prepared. So what do you do for that? Because normally this morning you bowl early in the morning. Now you got basically a whole full day pretty much getting yourself ready for 6:30 tomorrow night. So what do you do to get yourself fresh and ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, as much success as I had today, at some point I've got to have that really, really short-term memory, because tomorrow's a brand new day. The pattern's going to get laid over itself one or two more times, and by the time that I get to bowl on it, it's going to feel different. It's going to look different. I can't go with the game plan of trying to do exactly what I did today tomorrow, because if it doesn't work, then I have to be open-minded to doing other things. So it's just staying observant, and tonight it's just go home, get some rest, and that's the biggest thing. If my mind isn't sharp, I need to get enough sleep. If it's not sharp, then I'm not going to be able to make the same types of decisions tomorrow. So I just got to reset the momentum and go into tomorrow like it's a brand new day.
Right. Matt, let's try you again. Are you working?
Yep. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, bud.
Okay, awesome. So what adjustments and what did you learn from your first year to now this year with these lanes?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. Firstly, I learned that the amount of oil that they use on the tour is so much more than people realize, and I went in not really understanding that. So the decisions I made prior with the types of bowling balls, the types of tools I wanted to use with my physical game, just didn't match up with what was demanded by the oil pattern. And so this year I felt way more prepared for that, and my eyes were a lot more in tune with what I needed to look for, and how to make it look good and be able to strike efficiently. But then I also learned something about myself, is I just need to stay within my process. I can't get too worried about what's going on around me, like, oh, this guy's going to shoot 300 or this guy's bowling really good. I've got to focus on the decisions that I can make and what I can control, because if I start getting too wrapped up in what's going on around me, then my judgment's going to start getting clouded, and it's not going to be too good for the score.
Right, exactly. Adam, you have another question?
Yeah. So, what was it like to make the adjustment going from college bowling, where you were a national champion, now to competing against the best of the best at the USBC Masters?
Yeah, it's a completely different environment. In the collegiate setting, you kind of understand where you fall within some of the different teams, and towards the end of the season, you really know who you're competing against, in terms of like who's gonna make it to the finals, who's gonna make it to the intercollegiate team championships. But out here, there's so many good bowlers that week in and week out, they're all fighting to make the shows, and so you have to respect that each of them are on the same grind and the same dedication that you are. Not take that away from anyone, because anyone can beat anyone out here at any time. So if you can stay humble, understanding that, then it allows the good and the bad to kind of flow a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So Garrett, real quick before we let you go, I know the goal is to get to the cut line and then play in the the rest of the Masters. But are you really happy about your performance today? That was better from last year.
I genuinely am. I felt like today I did everything I could to get the most score possible. I never was really in a position where I was confused about what to do. I also wanted to quickly shout out my personal coach, Alan Levitt, who does a lot of the bowl U stuff as well. He helped guide my thoughts and talking in and out of some different decisions and clear up my head for when I was starting to have a little bit of a contemplation in my brain. So yeah, I would say I'm really satisfied with today. But there's 2 more blocks to go before that cut number gets announced, and so I'm going to do my best tomorrow and the day after to get as many pins as I can, and whatever happens. It's out of my control at that point.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad you're representing the state of Virginia, and basically you're almost like a local guy for us here. So it's cool to have somebody in Virginia and Maryland bowling in the Masters. So good luck the rest of the week. Good luck tomorrow, and hopefully we might see you hopefully on Sunday. That'd be cool if you could make it to the CW. That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. So good luck, okay? And thanks for coming on.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Yep, bye.
All right. See you. Bye. All right, that was Garrett Meadows, who's from Springfield, Virginia, who is in 6th place right now in the United States Masters out there in Allen Park, Michigan, where they bowled last year, where Gary Haynes won the title over the potty mouth of the Professional Bowlers Tour.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Did you watch episode 2 yet?
Yeah, that sounded like my brother used to bowl in the bowling alley. You know, like all the.
Yeah, it's called. When I was watching it last night, I was like, what the heck? I was like,
Matt, you got to watch this.
Yeah. You need to find a way to watch. I mean,
yeah, I got to give you the HBO my password to watch it. You know, because it reminded me of. Simonson reminded me of my brothers and probably you dropping every profanity word after he threw a ball down the lane. You know, and myself, because I remember sometimes I used to bowl and go, "Oh, beep this," you know, and your dad used to, Matt. Your dad used to go like this and tell me, "You're like you're going too fast." Yeah, like,
yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, when I was watching it last night, I was like, he said, "What?" I was like, and real quick, he said, "What?" I was like, oh,
but back now, Simon got suspended for not being a professional. Fine for not being a professional. Is that something that Pete Weber used to do? Get suspended?
I don't.
Yeah, I think Pete Weber was suspended for a couple.
Yes, I know. I'm Chris.
Because
I know
not being a professional. Yeah. Like,
I mean, what? I mean, those bowlers don't realize. I mean, people. I think people now have to understand that these bowlers, they do get emotional sometimes, and they're not afraid to speak it. I mean, last night was no exception. And I was like, when I heard what Simon said, I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
He even said last night, he said, no comment. I was like, okay.
That's
and
right.
I was just watching. I was like,
yeah.
He said, what?
So let me call Gary Stein. You can talk real quick, okay? Hold on.
Yeah.
Adam.
Matt, it's called on. Have you watched any of the TGL golf tour at all? That's got the TGL finals are taking place this week down in Florida, and match 2 is on tonight, and I think that Tiger Woods is going to be representing Team Jupiter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and oh yeah, did you see the food list that came out of the Masters? For for Roy McIlroy's dinner. Since he won it last year.
Yes, I did. What do you think of the food?
Well, no, I know it'd be expensive, but heck, I would eat it. I mean, it all sounded good. Chris, are you ready?
No, I'm still waiting for him to call me back. We're playing the game of phone tag.
Oh, okay.
But,
hey, Chris.
But yeah, Adam, that's some really good food on that menu where that Rory McIlroy has.
Yeah,
I saw that. I said that to you, Matt. That food is like, he was asking. Somebody asked him, "Why do you pick that type of food?" He goes, "Well, I was just trying to show people the essence of where he's from." I'm like, okay, I guess people in England eats filet mignon.
I guess. But still, oh yeah. Speaking of food, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but a lot of Major League Baseball teams have talked about some of the food contests that they're going to have at the stadiums. And by the way, coming up at 9:05, we're going to preview the Reds versus the Red Sox. We're going to have all around crazy Boston sports and Yukon Huskies nut. Gabby.
Yep.
Maljanian.
Well, we had to play a clip here. I have a clip of I know we weren't born in the 70s, but we remember this is a battle of people. You know, the Red Sox and Reds played in a Classic World Series back in '75. So here's the final out recorded on back in 1975.
2 down, nobody on. Joe Morgan's bloop single right now is the difference. Top of the 9th inning, he put the Reds ahead. There's a high fly ball. It should be all over. Geronimo's under, and Cincinnati has won the World Championship, beating the Boston Red Sox 4-3. The Reds win it in Fenway Park. Some of the veterans in this team have been very frustrated. They wanted this one badly. After winning 108 times this year, setting all kinds of records, it would have been a deep disappointment for them not to win. But they ran up against a ball club that extended them right down to the final inning of Game 7. This was the Reds' 115th victory tonight.
Yeah, so they opened up the season on Thursday. And also, speaking of opening up the season, a legendary broadcaster is having his final season in the Mets booth. So,
Howie Rose.
Yes. Howie Rose is going to take the mic up after the season. So here is a little montage of his greatest calls on the mics. He started covering Met games in 1987 for Sports Channel, and then he moved into the radio booth after Bob Murphy passed away. So so he's been the replacement for Bob Murphy. So here is some clips from Howie Rose, who the voice of the New York Mets.
I'll tell you, Howie, last year when we did the Mets-Giants games, people that traveled with the Giants felt he was the best all-around shortstop except for Barry Larkin.
And Langford gets one down the left field line. Clayton rounds second. Langford going into second, and Clayton's going to try to score. Ordonez threw it from his knees, and they got him! There is your first look at what Ray Ordonez is capable of doing. He was on his knees, Fran. No runs, 2 hits. Make that no runs 3 hits. Cardinals leave a runner, and here's why. He's on his knees. And the perfect peg from Ordonez nails Clayton. Lopez wants it away. And it's hit deep to left center. Andru Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2.
Take a look at this. He's got as much power as anybody. He got the arms extended. A long home run. And a curtain call.
Here's the 1-1. And it's driven in the air to right field pretty deep. Encarnacion back at the wall. It is gone. A home run. Jose Reyes takes Carpenter deep over the right field wall at the 371 mark, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead. Well, he's a factor now. Santana into the windup. The payoff pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. He's done it. Johan Santana has pitched a no-hitter in the 8,020th game in the history of the New York Mets. They finally have a no-hitter,
And who better to do it than Johan Santana? And what a remarkable story. His teammates are mobbing him at the mound. It is a surreal feeling here at Citi Field. The first no-hitter in the history of the New York Mets has been pitched by as worthy a candidate as anyone, Johan Santana. Put it in the books, in the history books. One of the seminal moments in the history of this franchise.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that game. I was working for my internship at WXCY, and that game was on the radio. And we had a power outage at my parents' house, and I came back home and there was no power. And I'm sitting in the dining room, in the TV, in the kitchen, and I saw on my phone, no runs, no hits by the Cardinals going into the 8th inning. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, okay, because we always had one hitters. Tom Seaver had the franchise had one hitters.
He did.
My dad said my dad watched one of the Seaver games and he struck out 19 Padres and won 4-1 or 4-0 and gave up one hit. And it was a 2-out single in the bottom of the 9th. Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we got another one years later, a combined no-no.
That's true, you did.
When we told the Phillies to hit the road, Jack.
So speaking about that, guys, a combined no-hitter, when you have multiple pitchers get a no-hitter, do you – I mean, obviously it's a no-hitter, but do you consider that the same as just one pitcher pitch a no-hitter?
I feel like it's a team effort because if you had – your starting pitcher and he only could go 5 innings because he's just a rookie or there's something wrong with him. He hurt himself. And then the other guy comes in and does 2 scoreless, and another guy comes in for the 8th inning, and then your closer comes in. It's a lot of pressure on those their pitchers because they're coming into a situation that you got a no-no going, and you don't want to blow it, because that's why you don't want to jinx anybody. I'm really tired of ESPN doing this. When you get to the 5th inning, why do you say no hitter alert? Like wait till like the 8th inning for a no hitter alert.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it starts getting people panicking and all that stuff. So anyway, that was Howie Rose retiring for the Mets this year after so many years behind the mic. This is his final season. I got to ask you a question about college basketball and coaches. I'm going to play you a clip from Brenda Fries over the weekend, and she's getting a lot of slack here about this because she's a coach of Maryland.
She is. She's legendary.
And she's legendary. And let me play this clip, and I want you guys to listen to what's your take on this, because Nicole was telling me about this morning. A lot of backlash from this whole situation, and I'm sorry. I think Bobby Knight used to do this too, and Coach K and everybody else. So here it is.
This is just a short time ago.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, well, she was trying to fire up her player, and it worked.
Of course.
She went to the paint, got fouled, and went and did a 3-point play. And I'm sorry, Bobby Knight used to cuss out his team in the locker room.
Dude.
Yeah, there was
I have no problem with that.
Coach K used to get fired on the sidelines. And Meg, you probably know this too. Gary Williams used to take off his freaking sports jacket after a while, and he's getting all sweaty and used to throw it around and go, "Okay, let's get going here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
She was disciplining her player to ask her star player, "What the heck are you doing?" And I don't think she used profanity. But that was actually, getting her fired up, that player, and it worked. I know Maryland didn't win the game because North Carolina women beat them, but they played better after that.
I mean,
So
yeah.
then what? So what flack is she receiving? Like
People
what are
on
people saying?
TikTok and people are saying it's not right for her to be in the player's face. Like people who don't understand about coaching. Like coaching people. John Gruden used to get in people's faces all the time, and I know I know somebody out there. Our friend Ewan probably knows what we're talking about. Legendary coaches like, Jimbo Fisher used to get in, Jameis Winston's face.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's coaching people, and it's coaching. It's very much coaching, and that's what people are. And if you don't like that, then go watch the no offense to Hallmark Channel. But go watch a Hallmark channel. Because it's like coaches are.
I mean, if it fires you up, it fires you up. I mean,
right, exactly. So anyway, that's what happened over the weekend, and I just wanted to address that because I think that's something that people would love to talk about because coaches don't coach anymore. Because they're all afraid. They're all afraid of getting backlash from the media or whatever. Like, oh my God,
I mean,
come on. Give me a break.
If you need to do it, you need to do it. I mean,
Yeah. Like what's his name? Dan Marino used to yell as the players on the sidelines. I remember Dan Marino grabbed Mark Clayton and like pulled his helmet down on the sideline. Like, what are you doing? And Elway the same way, Montana the same way.
Of course.
Even in baseball, Bobby Cox used to come out and get himself through his throw after he was done. See you later, y'all. I'm going.
Did he ever? I mean, sheesh. I mean, he was legendary in Atlanta for doing stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So anyway, let me try to get a hold of Coach Shimmick here. So you guys go and talk what's going on. So
sure. Okay. So when it comes to Major League Baseball, Matt, who do you think do you think a surprise team will win the World Series, or do you think it'll be a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Boston Red Sox, etc.?
Adam, you're forgetting the main team, the New York Yankees.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, the Yankees are good, but you look what the Orioles did. Obviously they did sign Pete Alonso. The Red Sox have Roman Anthony and Garrett Crochet. We know. I think the AL East is going to be interesting this year. But Chris is called. Are we ready to talk spring football?
Yes, we just got done with basketball in this state of Maryland because the women's team lost from Maryland and Towson lost the heartbreaker in the CAA, both women and men's basketball. So we got the head coach of Towson football getting ready for a great season. They got some games on the road this year, one at Navy and one in hopefully a week ago too in South Carolina against Frank Beamer and his son Shane Beamer, and Beamer ball, I sound like West Durham there for a minute. Beamer ball,
Yes, Chris.
No offense, we love West Durham. He's a cool guy. So let's bring Coach Shimmick on. Hey, Coach, how you doing? Are you there?
Doing well, man. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. So how is spring practice going? Because I saw you guys started. How is everything going?
Spring ball is going well. Yeah, we've gotten a couple practices in before spring break, and then got back and started this week. But like where we're at, our guys have really worked hard. Excited about what I'm seeing.
So talk about what competition you're going to look for during the spring, because I know a lot of teams look at their players and say, all right, we're going to get ready for the fall, but we got spring practice. What are one position that you're looking at going, we need to get an upgrade here?
Well, I want great competition really in every position. I think one where we feel like we've got a really strong group of guys is our running back position. We really didn't have great productivity running the ball last year, and that has been an emphasis for us. And so we returned Kamarian Battle and Caddy Phillips, and we've added Xavier Pugh and Tristan Keenan and Javon Ford, who redshirted for us last year. So we feel like we have a really good group. We feel like it's going to be very competitive. First couple practices have proved that.
Mm-hmm. Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah, so even though the CAA lost Villanova and William and Mary to the Patriot League, do you still think that the CAA will be one of the overall toughest conferences this upcoming season?
Yeah, I do. I think when you look at, obviously, over the years, we've had a couple teams move up. I think those guys going over, they've got their reasons for doing that. But still, when you look at the breadth and the width of the conference, and you look at, what is the deciding factor in, almost top to bottom, every CAA game is really within 2 scores. There are very few blowouts in the CAA. And so, as I look at my time here, the 3 years that I've been here, we've had 14 losses to FCS programs. We've been blown out twice. And, in our wins, we've had 2 blowouts to kind of even things up. Mm-hmm. But every other game, wins and losses really have been two-score games almost. And so top to bottom, I think this league is very strong. I still think we'll have an opportunity to get 3, if not 4 teams into the playoffs.
Yeah, I know we look ahead at your schedule, and I know we love looking ahead. It's only March. I know you have spring ball, but Adam and I and Matt are circling September 12th because I think that game against some guy named Beamer, down there in Columbia, I think that'll be a great game for the University of Towson to be on the SEC network, and maybe break up, maybe get an upset win, because I think Shane Beamer is trying to get that program back to being where it was, and I think if you guys roll in there and knock them out quietly in Columbia, South Carolina, I think that'd be cool.
Well, yeah, we'd love that. I think, the week before that, we're down in Annapolis at the Naval Academy, and, we opened up on a Thursday night with a conference game against Maine. So I think the way we start the season, is really going to be exciting, really going to be unique to play 2 FBS programs back to back. That'll be a fun challenge for us. But, I like where our guys are at. I like how our preparation has put us in the position that we're in right now. But you're definitely right. I mean, to go down and play in an SEC stadium, to have that type of recognition, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool, and it'll be great for the university to be on the SEC network, because Towson football doesn't really get on ESPN that much. I know last year we had a game on Norfolk State, the first game against Michael Vick, and you guys beat them there, and then the Big Ten network had you on for the Maryland game. So it's still a good way to expose the university that there is football in the Baltimore metro area instead of College Park.
No doubt. No, and anytime you get an opportunity to do that, again, like you said, great for the university, great for athletic department, and fun for our players and fun for their families. Yeah,
Matt, you have a question for him?
Yeah. So what are some takeaways that you took from this past season that you're going to do some adjustments for this upcoming football season?
Yeah, every year you sit back and analyze, what did we do well, what could we do better, where do we need to be, how do we improve, And really, I think one of the things that, a lot of our games came down to were the fourth quarter. And, Campbell, our last game, we throw a fade route to win the game, score a touchdown almost as time expires. Same thing happened at Morgan State. Villanova, we're down 4 with 5 minutes to go. We lose the game. Youngstown, we're ahead in the fourth quarter, and they kick a walk-off field goal to beat us. So really, being great in the fourth quarter and finishing well. So we've been emphasizing that. We've been telling our guys what needs to take place, how they need to prepare, how we need to do it, and I want to see a team that gets after it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Matt, you have Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah, so I know you guys open up, with the conference game against a really good Maine Black Bears team, but if you could choose, would you rather have a conference game to start your season, or would you like a non-conference game?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, first 3 years we've gone non-conference, and, one time we opened up, with Cincinnati. One time we've opened up with Morgan State. So, for me, I'm good. I think what the conference game does is, raises awareness that, hey, you're automatically on the clock. We're only going to play 8 conference games, so they are. But by doing that, it really has a greater sense of awareness. Hey guys, we got to be great week 1, man. We got to be ready to go. We got an opportunity to be 1-0 in conference after the first week. So I think that it raises a little bit of the awareness as to what you're doing, and it kind of gives it a little more of a push during fall camp to get your guys going and get them in the right mindset.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Adam just said about William & Mary and Richmond going off to the Patriot League, and also with Villanova, now it feels like Towson is the major dog in the CAA football, because I feel like you guys are still part of the old group. Nothing wrong with Rhode Island. Rhode Island's great too. We know Coach Fleming up there as well, but I feel like the CAA might go between you and Rhode Island probably. Because of the experience of playing in the CAA.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for us. I really do. And again, one of the original members of the CAA, been doing it for a while. I think this gives us an opportunity to reestablish, our presence in the conference.
Mm-hmm. Matt, you have another question?
Yeah, Coach. So you said a little bit ago about finishing and about the mindset, and that is so important to finish in the fourth quarter and to have the right mindset. So putting those two things together, how have you gone about doing that so far? And I know it's early and you got spring ball and stuff, but what are some things that you have, whether you're going to talk and discuss with your players about the mindset and about finishing for the fourth quarter?
Yeah, so the phrase that we've come up with that is tagging to that is we want to execute to exhaustion. All right, so we want to execute at a high level. We want excellence every rep. We want to excel in the moment, and we want to execute to exhaustion. So we want to see our guys, fatigued when that play's over. We want to see it when that series over. We're looking for them, again, program theme is RTA, living up to one's fullest potential, excellence of any kind. So we want to execute to exhaustion and leave everything we have on the field.
Yeah, that's true. So what are you guys working on in spring ball this week? Is anything you guys doing before you have that big scrimmage game down there at the Under Armour pavilion thing? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we ended up moving it back to Johnny Unitas Stadium.
Okay.
So we're going to actually do our pro day down at Under Armour,
okay.
Where the NFL scouts come and watch our seniors. But we're going to do the spring game now. We just moved it back to Johnny Unitas. But really, spring is about development. Spring is about growth. Spring is about fine tuning who you are, how you do it, and what takes place.
Right, exactly. So when is pro day for you guys?
It's April 10th.
Okay. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I did a pro day one time there at Towson. I can't believe all the NFL scouts just get crammed into one area. I was like, it's amazing. You know, I'm like, jeez. You know, like we had the Cowboys there one time, and you know, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people there. That's not bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. Who wants the last question?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah. So overall, I know you guys are playing Sacred Heart, you know, at the end of your season, and they're joining the CAA this year. So what will it be like to face a team that you're not familiar with in the Sacred Heart Pioneers?
Yeah, you know, I thought they had a really good season last year. I thought they played really good football. I'm really kind of happy that you know, we're playing them later in the year, so we'll have a little bit of an idea as to who they are and what they're capable of. You know, they played a few CAA teams, so we've got a little bit of an idea of that. But you know, we'll get them after they've already played. You know, six CAA teams, I think it is. But they got a lot of respect for them. They had a really good season last year. Expect nothing but them to be very competitive and them to be a team that's, you know, going to get after it in the CAA. Again, I think top to bottom, one of the stronger FCS conferences out there. And we know we're going to have our work cut out for us every week, no matter who we're playing.
That's true. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on tonight. We will we'll get you on during the rest of the spring brawl, and we'll talk to you about the spring game at Johnny Unitas Stadium, and we'll get you ready for that in August as well.
No, look forward to it. Appreciate you guys. Hope you're doing well. And again, thank you for the opportunity to come on.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. I see it. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. All right. That is Coach Shimmick joining us here.
Chris, I can still remember when you and I went to College Park last year, and it was like, you know, to get a chance to finally meet him in person after talking with him on here for a couple seasons, I was like, I mean, you hear him, and then you finally put voice, to sight, and he was just a cool dude to be around, when we were there.
Yeah, I had a good time with him. We had him on the show and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he's like family.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, I know he got destroyed by Maryland, but but that's just the way it is. So, all right. So we're going to move on here. We're going to talk some local sports here. Gary Stein. We're trying to get a hold of him, but we're having we don't have a lot of room here tonight, so to fit in. So let me. All right, Adam. You have somebody that said they're having problems getting on. So let me send them the link here. So let's bring in the guest here. Here's Ed. Ed does a podcast show called What Is Ed Sports Show. So Adam, you want to?
Yes. So speaking of Maryland local sports, as Chris just said, let's bring in our good friend Ed from WTFIsEdSportsShow. So Ed, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and just talk about how you got your podcast started.
So yeah, good afternoon or good evening, I should say. Time's been flying all day.
Yeah.
And we got our idea from the original podcast is Arguing Goldfish. And basically that is with a couple of friends of mine that we all work together, and we basically argue with each other about everything. It could be as simple as the name Jay. Is Jay short for Jason, or is it short for something else? And we'll just argue. But that podcast was just to go around and highlight Baltimore, because I think Baltimore gets kind of like buried in all the other stuff that's around and all the outside noise that's been created. So we try to highlight, because there's a lot of first things that happen in Baltimore. So then we try to come up with, okay, well, Baltimore is also rich in history, in sports history, all the way back, where the New York Yankees can even, they have ties to the Baltimore area. So we're like, well, what's the name of this show going to be? And we just went through and we go, well, who the F is really Ed? And then I was like, there it is. It's WTF is Ed Sports Show now. So it's like, who is this guy coming in, and why do we want to listen to him, and why would we ever want to do anything with him? So that's where we're at with that. And I appreciate the invite onto your show tonight, and maybe we can get the word out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you actually had a guest that we had on here talking about the Olympics, Brian Soso. And I was like, what was it like, for you to talk to a local Olympian?
So, yeah, he's super nice guy, and I'm sure you guys got that through him. He's super nice. And he came on, we talked for a good hour just about the whole Olympic experience. And I think hearing that somebody from Maryland actually was a competitive figure into the Olympics was pretty cool, and it was definitely a long shot. I just sent him I actually connected with him through Facebook, and he returned my messages. So, I mean, he was just an awesome guy, explained everything. And what infatuated with me with his story, especially, was he was a track star. He wasn't even a bobsledding kind of person.
Right.
He was just a track star who became a bobsledder in his next life. And, and he got really good at it and made the Olympic team and then got to compete. And I thought that was completely awesome.
Yeah, we had him on, and we had the other one from down in Prince George's County.
Yes. We had a someone from U.S. sled hockey. We had someone from U.S. Lozier on. It was like, I mean, when you watch the Olympics and it's like you see these people compete on TV, it's like you never thought you would get a chance to talk to an Olympian, but we have, and it's like, I'll simply never forget it.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're finding this with your show, and I'm finding it with my podcast, is that how reasonable some of these folks are that are willing to come on and talk to you and just have a conversation, and they're not as, I guess, celebritized, as I guess would be a word for it, if it is a word, that they're willing to just talk. But, with the podcast and with anything that, we've been doing through both these shows, it is awfully complicated to narrow somebody's time frame down and get them on the air and get them to talk. And that's like 9/10 of the battle. It's just to find their time and get them to respond. And then, because I'm sure they're inundated with requests as well. So, and actually this last interview, I think it was released last week, was Mike Bordick of the Orioles. Super nice guy. I don't know if you guys have gotten him on yet.
Not yet.
Definitely a great guy.
Yeah, he's actually a really good player. Plus, he actually he has a record that I think when he got traded to the Mets, he had a home run in his first at bat against the Cardinals. And people didn't realize he did that. So I think one of the talk shows around here, Ed, told him that, and he goes, "Yeah, I think I vaguely remember hitting a home run when I got traded from the Orioles to the Mets because they brought Melvin Moore down there from New York to Baltimore, and he took over, in 2000. It was pretty cool, but I haven't met him yet. I haven't really had him on and talked to him yet, but he seems like a really good kid, a good guy, and he works around here with the youth, and him and Rick Dempsey are doing that baseball academy around here, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, he also went on. I think they're opening 2 more academies shortly. That they just want to take local kids and teach them the game of baseball. Who would have thought of an idea? I guess we all had an idea of that before, but they have the extra means to make that fruition and get these kids learning a great game that it is. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about opening day coming up on Thursday, and they had a dress rehearsal on Saturday or Sunday against the Nationals, and I got to say that ballpark, the scoreboard's pretty big now, so and a lot of new upgrades. What do you think? The Orioles are going to do this year with Pete Alonso, who came from my favorite team, the Mets, down to Baltimore. I'm still trying to get used to him in the other orange than the one orange. And a quick story, Ed, when Pete Alonso signed with the Mets, with the Orioles, I called my mother because she's been an Orioles fan since a long time. She was from this area. And I said, Mom, you got yourself a polar bear? And she goes, yeah, down in the aquarium. I go, Mom, I'm talking about Pete Alonso. She's like, oh, yeah, they call him the polar bear. I'm like, yes, they do. She's like, oh, well, you got somebody to root for. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
So the similar story, I wasn't even paying attention to the headlines, and somebody messaged me. He goes, hey, the polar bear's coming. I said, they escaped again? I mean, what happened? And then when I looked up the news stories from the day, it said Pete Alonso got traded. Pete Alonso is an interesting figure because I actually started liking him when he took on Trey Mancini in the home run contest.
Okay.
And it was just the way he enjoyed just being there. He was dancing to the music as he was hitting. He was just a guy you could follow. Right. And even though he's going against Trey Mancini, it's like, this is enjoyable to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But to your question about the Orioles, and they are their biggest enemy at this point. And I think there's no doubt about that. The injuries last year was plagued by injuries. The pitching staff was in shambles. They went out and I think solidified some of it. I like Chris Bassett. I was always a fan when he was in Toronto. Mm-hmm. They signed Zach Eflin back. And then, the biggest headline was they put Dean Kramer down in AAA for now. And I think that tells you how deep we are at this moment. But we also know from last year, they were saying, oh, the deepest part of this team is the starting staff. And then, Bradish is down. Wells is down. This guy's down. But I think if they can hold it together with the injuries and get Westy back, get Jackson Holiday back, somehow find a solution for the outfield. Because I'm not sure if Colton Cowser is the solution there.
Right.
I think Dylan Beaver is going to eventually take that. And then they shorted up with Taylor Ward, who is an absolute gem. I mean, he can hit. That's for sure. I think they're a good 90 and 95 win season this year. Because there's always those variables of losing streaks and hitting and cold snaps and pitching that always seem to be in the way.
Well, and plus, like Matt knows this too, you could play really well in April, but it doesn't mean crap until October.
Correct.
Like the Yankees, and he knows this real well. The Yankees he's a Yankee fan, so basically the Yankees play like crap in the early part of the season, and everybody's like, oh, what's wrong with the Yankees? And by the time June rolls around, they're in first place, and you're like, where did they come from? Geez, because some teams start out slow, and they don't pick it up until the weather gets warmer or whatever. I know last year the Mets we were pretty good in the first half until after the All-Star break, and we just started going down, twirling in the trash can, and we should have been in the postseason if we score some runs against the Marlins.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank you, Milwaukee. I appreciate you winning. I was going to buy a Milwaukee T-shirt and wear it for the week, saying thanks, Milwaukee. Yeah, but it doesn't happen that way. But
also to your point about the scoreboard, I think fans in general are going to look for a new experience with the Oriole Park. Right. I mean, such a great ballpark to begin with. That was starting the wear and tear, and they had to change the landscape of it, I think, to bring in more fans to absolutely fall in love with it. Because I think, people ask all the time, well, what's that building in right field? And I go, well, that's the old B&O warehouse. And they're like, what? And they're like, they didn't build that? I said, no, that thing's been around since ancient times, I guess they would say, since the 1800s. And people are just so in love with that.
Right, exactly. Matt, do you have a question for him or anything?
Yeah, so what do you think about the Orioles this season? Do you think they're going to do well? And if so, do you think that they're going to make the playoffs?
So I was actually listening to 105.7 on the way in to work, and what quantifies a successful season for this team? They've been to the playoffs. They've been they haven't won a playoff game since 1997.
Wow.
So what is quantifying? I'm not sorry. They haven't won since when 2014.
Right.
Sorry
yeah.
about that.
That's okay.
So what quantifies a successful season? Is it just getting into the playoffs, or is it actually overcoming winning a playoff game with this group of guys? Right. Like I said, 95 wins is I think is where they're about sitting. I don't know. The Yankees are always a wild card if they're gonna make a push to that division. It just seems like the evil empire always strikes. So I think to be a successful season, to quantify a great season would be playoff wins and getting into those playoffs and actually making noise. And of course, every fan who was born before 1984 would say, well, we need a World Series. Well, I have never seen it. I was born in 84, the year after the World Series. So it's like, what do we do next?
Yeah. Well, I'm still looking for a World Series title, and I was born in 1981, and the Mets won it in '86, and I'm still waiting for a repeat of it, because, we got close to it in 2015, and we lost to the Royals, and I remember that game. I turned off the bottom of the ninth when the Royals scored 9 runs against us in Game 5, and I'm like, my mom goes, "You turned off the game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to bed."
And then, and then don't forget, Chris, the Subway Series in 2000.
Oh yeah, 2000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably the most pivotal game. I think everybody watched that series.
Yeah, I know it
What
is.
it meant.
Yeah,
that was a phenomenal series. I mean, I know the Yankees won it, but I mean, it was definitely. I feel like that was the most watched World Series, just like what you said.
And I think they were all household names such as Mike Piazza and you could name every Yankee at that point. Pettit, and Roger Clemens, and all the rest of those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Ed, we're up against the clock. What are you doing next on your show? You guys have a new show coming out this week?
Yeah, I interview an ex NFL player who's actually one of my neighbors. Coincidentally, and he talks about his time, and he's actually played with or played for multiple head coaches that are in the NFL league now.
Oh, cool, nice. And when is that coming out? This week, sometime?
I think probably about Friday or Saturday-ish.
Okay,
cool. I got to narrow down my time because I coach high school baseball and any spare time that I have left.
That's cool. And people can watch your show on Facebook, on YouTube, right?
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, pretty much every social media platform, except for TikTok. I can't figure it out.
Me either. I don't put that on there. Yeah, I know that's where the money is, but I'm like, no. I don't really.
No, I just can't figure out how to do anything on there.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, Ed, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I want to wish you luck with your show, and we'll keep in touch during the season, and we'll get you back on, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the time.
All right, buddy. Talk to you, man. See you. Bye. All right, that's a brand new podcast here in Maryland, Ed, and it's from the WTF is Ed Sports Show.
I was like, when I saw her, I was like, who the heck is that? And
I know.
I was like,
I found him on Facebook, and he messaged me one time, and I'm like, give him a shot.
I mean, he sounds like a cool dude. I mean,
yeah, he is. He seems like a cool dude. Speaking of cool dudes, we're going to switch gears to high school lacrosse, and a lot of private school lacrosse is doing pretty well. And we got Coach Kelly with us from Calvert Hall College, right down the street from. I think I'm 15 minutes away from there. I'm here in Maryland. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How is the season? I know you guys are 2-2 right now, but I guess that's just the early part of the season, right?
Yeah, it's early. We've had some played some really good competition. We lost to the number 1 team in the country, Lawrenceville, and we also lost to Malvern Prep up in Pennsylvania, who is a very good team. But I do think we benefit from those games, and we're only going to get better from playing good teams like that. So we're looking forward to the season starting.
That's true. Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah. So, what was it like for you, to face the number 1 team in high school lacrosse?
Facing them?
Yeah. What was it like?
It's good. I mean, we do it every year. I feel like we've always had a tough out of conference schedule. I kind of view the out of conference schedule as like the preseason games, like I told our kids, we can go 4-0 in the out of conference and still lose the Super Bowl like the Ravens have done in preseason, I'd rather go 2-2 and then win the MIAA. But, last year we finished number 1 in the country and we beat Lawrenceville in triple overtime, and we beat Malvern in overtime. So it kind of goes back and forth lacrosse, high school. Some years you're got more experience than others and some years you don't. So
Yeah.
this year we didn't play our best, but we're going to get better from it.
Yeah, and these are games you guys like these non-conference schedules, like you see in football. You learn what your team is against the other competition that might help you with when you play in your conference games. I know you've lost to the number one team in the country, and I got a clip here. You guys, were down 7-0, already down by a touchdown. But in lacrosse, that's a lot. To try to come back and win it. But you got a goal here coming up here shortly. But what did you like Adam was trying to say, playing these like number one team in the country and a lot of teams around this area, it'll help you get ready for the MIA schedule.
And like a team like Lawrenceville, they're a prep school, so they have a lot of PGs. A lot of their kids are 19, 20-year-olds, we're 15, 16 to 18-year-olds. So you get that experience that you can, so they're just a really good team, and we couldn't clear the ball against them at all. So that's what killed us. And we kind of went in blind. We were their first game, and that was our third or fourth game. So they had game film on us, and we didn't have much on them. But I don't think it really would have mattered, to be quite honest. But I'd love to play them again towards the end of the year. That's kind of how I think we're only going to get better, because we're a pretty young team. We lost a lot of guys from last year. We only have 3 returners back from last year's team. So, we just got to keep building, as I always tell the kids.
Yeah. Well, the next 2 games you got is against Gilman. That's a pretty good school. And then up in Harford County with John Carroll. I know about John Carroll from Harford County days, up there. They're good. And people don't realize there is a private school in Harford County. And people don't realize that. It's like they're like, it's all public school up there. And that's the only private school in Harford County, and that used to be a public school back before they changed over.
Well, they're good, and Gilman's playing really well, and they got a lot of guys back, and they've had a great off season, and we got to come in and play our best campaign, and then we have John Carroll after them at John Carroll, and that's always a tough place to play, and they've been playing really well also.
Yeah. Talk about you got some players who are going off to college next year. You got a University of Virginia recruit, you got a Navy recruit, and you also have a kid going down to College Park. So just talk about having those kids on your roster, knowing that they will be on Saturday afternoons playing college lacrosse, and you get a chance to watch them, and they're pretty much in the local area.
Fun, for me as a coach, like right now, Boston University's playing Harvard, and got a kid playing for Boston University, and then you watch these kids go on to the next level, and all 3 of those schools are getting really special players, and they're all going to do an amazing job. And that's one of our core values, is to get our kids prepared for the next level.
That's
and
true.
I think our kids do a really good job once they get to college. They're ready.
Yeah. Adam, you have another question?
Yes. So I looked at your schedule, and you guys actually play a team from north of the border, Hill Academy out of Canada. So what was it like for you guys to face Canadian, I guess you could say their version of high school? What was it like to face a team from north of the border?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've played them every year. One of my longtime assistants was a guy named Dave Huntley, who unfortunately passed away, and he was from Canada. And we have always had a great relationship with the Hill Academy. And it is a definitely different brand of lacrosse for our kids. They're extremely skilled, very one-handed, but they can do things with their one hand better than anybody. They're very big, physical. It is definitely a different style, and sometimes it takes you a while to get used to it. But for me, it's always fun, just because I have a lot of respect for the way they play. And it's just always good to go up against the best team in Canada in the Hill Academy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we got the coach from McDonogh coming on later. What's it like playing against those schools here in around the Beltway? Because if you don't realize, there's good lacrosse here in the Beltway.
Our league is the MIAA, and there's not a better league in the country than in our league. Honestly, it's kind of like the NFL. You know, like you could beat anybody, you can lose to anybody. I feel like this year the league is more wide open than it's ever been. I don't think there's one like team you could sit there and say that's the best team. I think we're all kind of finding our way right now. You know, Travis Holmes is his first year head coach at McDonogh, and it's been a long time assistant. And they hired a great coach who's going to do a great job. And I have a ton of respect for Travis. So he's going to be a great guest. I can tell you that. And you know, all these teams like McDonogh, you know, Boys Latin, Gilman, St. Paul's, Loyola. You know, you got Spalding, St. Mary's, you know, obviously John Carroll, as we already said. So Severn, every team is a battle.
Right. Exactly. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on tonight, and I want to enjoy it. Hopefully, you have good weather on Thursday. It's supposed to be nice.
Yeah, I think we're playing Friday. It's supposed to rain, unfortunately. Yeah. So hopefully it'll, you know, usually they're wrong.
Can you move it to Thursday?
It's Friday. What's that?
Can you move it to Thursday? It's like, hey, I don't want to play on Friday.
That would be nice. That would be nice, but I don't think so. So we usually play every Tuesday, Friday from here on out. So it's a grind, but it's fun.
Nice. Well, we'll get a hold of you during the rest of the season and see how you're doing. And thank you for coming on Tuesday night, and good luck this week.
Great. Thank you so much.
Take care. All right, see you. Bye. All right, that's Coach Kelly from Calvert Hall College. Speaking of Calvert Hall College, we're going to get ourselves back into bowling, but we do need to cover something from this past Sunday. Yes, you did not watch. If you were watching the Professional Bowlers Tour and you're trying to figure out what the heck going on here, let's bring the clip in so you can sit here and listen to it. So here is the championship match of the Indiana Classic between Marshall Kent and our friend Dave Grohl, who we had him on the show. Boog, we had him on when he won the Delaware Classic. Yes, so here it is.
He'll get this fast. A lot of things have changed in his career since he's been on the PBA. And he's got the split here. 4-7-9
just gift wrapping it.
He wanted to be with people, so he reached out to Kevin Williams, said, Kevin, you know, you guys are staying at Airbnbs. Can I stay with you? This is the spare there.
Yeah, Boog, great guy, great individual. Love to see him bowl well. Got a little lost today, but he is on the right track. Finished 6th last week in Decatur, 2nd this week, going into the Masters. That's a huge confidence. But Marshall, man, I bet if you asked him in the 6th frame if he is going to win today.
He's a title closer, by the way, to the Hall of Fame. And that was a big thing for Marshall Kent. If you can get to 10 titles, you're eligible for the Hall of Fame. And now he is at 8. 8 tour titles for Marshall Kent as he hoists that Indiana Classic trophy.
Yeah.
Of all the telecasts that I've ever watched in the PBA Tour, and it's got to be over 1,000.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
well,
what was that?
We had people like Lucas Wiseman and myself.
Yes.
They were trying to figure out was the lowest scoring ever on the Professional Bowlers Tour. Yep. And you got to go back to 1983 when it was in Anaheim at the Mel South Shore Bowl. It's the Miller High Life Open, and here is a clip of that. You know, it's that's why we're playing the classic bowling tune here. So it was actually Dennis Jakes taking on Joe Stanton. Combined 166 to 133. It was not a championship match. It was the first match of the game.
Holy cow!
Yeah. So and plus, here's the other thing people don't realize: Dennis Jakes also was part of another low-scoring game in the same year up in Canada against. I think it was he took on I think one of the classic.
Was it Sam Zurich?
Yeah, Sam Zurich, and it was low score.
Huh.
So he owns Dennis Jakes, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. He was a big man on the Professional Bowlers Tour. He bowled against. I remember him bowling on TV against Pete Weber and all that stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's probably right now happy up in the bowling lanes of the sky that he doesn't have to be. He's not part of a trivia question anymore. Yeah, so Adam, let's talk about that final match before we bring in our friend from Indian Head, Maryland, who bowled in the Masters this year. EJ kind of had a bad match against Marshall Kent, and looked like the lane started changing in EJ's match.
Yeah,
because EJ was just blowing strikes down the pipe, and then all of a sudden he started having the same problem that Dave had.
Yeah, it's called, if you look, the left lane was giving EJ Tackett fits, and it was like no matter what he tried, the right lane he had, it was nailed down to a T, but that left lane, Chris.
Yeah.
Something about that left lane and EJ Tackett, I was like, dude, and Chris.
Yeah.
EJ Tackett lives like not far from that, from Fort Wayne, and you know how badly he wanted to win the Indiana Classic because he didn't win the U.S. Open when it was in Indianapolis. So it's like,
right.
So
we're having technical difficulties here with StreamYard because I've been getting a couple emails from people that the link is not working. I don't understand what's going on here. So I'm going to try to give Andrew another message back here, see if we can try again. Let me try to get because I don't even know what happened. What's going on here?
I don't know. Like I said, I tried clicking the link and it said.
Yeah. So let me see what we can do here. Hold on a second.
Hopefully. Oh yeah. Coming up at 9:05.
Right.
We're gonna talk the Reds versus the Red Sox. We're gonna have Tim Daniel from Locked On Reds and crazy Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox and the Boston Balling podcast to talk about this opening day series. So, and by the way, folks, Scott, if you didn't already know, Gabby is a huge UConn Huskies fan. So I think I know what she'll be doing Friday night at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. That's when UConn is in the Sweet 16. And Chris, while we're waiting on Andru to join us, what's been your take of how crazy March Madness has been this year?
Oh, it's been pretty crazy. With the what's his name? Nebraska had never won a tournament game until this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like So looking at the Sweet 16, matchups for Thursday, starting off at 7:10 Eastern on CBS, you've got Texas versus Purdue. Then you have a Big Ten Conference showdown at 7:30 on TBS with Iowa taking on Nebraska.
Okay.
Thursday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern on CBS, you have Arkansas taking on Arizona. And then to round out Thursday, you have Illinois out of the Big Ten taking on the Houston Cougars out of the Big 12. So incredible matchups on Thursday.
All right. You want to bring him in? He's here.
Yeah. So obviously it is USBC Masters Week out in Allen Park, Michigan. And our next guest recently won a national title, the NAIA national champion for bowling. And now he gets to strut his stuff out in Allen Park, Michigan. And 3 years ago, before we actually had him on our show in the past. So that's welcome in Andru Blaney.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I didn't realize we had you on 3 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. I was doing some research the other day. I'm like, this kid looks familiar.
Yeah.
And I put it in on YouTube, and there's our old interview we had with you 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were wearing your USA, bowling jersey, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. So you grew up 3 years later.
Yeah.
I have changed. I have a beard now. Adam actually has more stickers on the wall.
I do. I have more stickers.
Video we did with you.
Here, so yeah.
If you played the video 3 years ago, he had 4 or 5 stickers on the back of that
and
thing.
now I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing.
how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Not bad.
All good. All good, man. Yeah.
Okay,
So
Adam,
first of all, congratulations on winning the NAIA national champion.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what's it like to win a national championship in college bowling?
It's kind of one of those feelings that like words really are hard to like describe. I mean, you're with these group of guys like all year for multiple years. Some guys only 1 year, and it's a lot of like hard work that we're putting in. I mean, our practices start at 5:53 every morning.
Oh wow!
And like we're there for 2 hours, so like we're putting in all this work for 4 days every week. And like it's just a build up throughout the season, and it's just rewarding when we get to that point.
Yeah. Well, you bowled today in the first round. You're in Group B with Jacob Bucktrip. We were trying to get him on, but I guess he had other things to do. I guess when they have more money than we do, they don't come on. But anyway, we have you on. It's great to have you on. But finished 133rd. Out of so many bowlers today. What did you take from your first day bowling on these professional lanes? Because I know you bowl a lot on the college lanes. They're probably the similar oil pattern, but a little bit tougher.
It's the transition I would say is like much faster pace here. Out on the pro level, like things just happen at a much faster rate compared to like when you're in college or even just like amateur events. And it's a lot to adapt to. Like if you don't have a lot of experience out doing it, it's just like you're gonna be behind. And that's kind of what I felt like. I felt like pace-wise, I was doing okay for the first couple games. Like I was bowling pretty well for the first 3 out of the 5 games today that we had. And then the last 2, it's just I feel like that experience and like just not the knowledge that some of these other guys have kind of like came into play where like there was moves I needed to make that not really as familiar with like at this level.
Yeah. Do you bring out like a pad of paper? Because if you watch that documentary on HBO, with Kyle Troop and all the guys, Kyle brings out a book or something and writes down all on the lane. Do you have something similar to that to get yourself knowing for tomorrow? Because I know you bowl tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you fresh oil, so it's a brand new day, and you guys bowl on this. You're the first ones to bowl on this stuff. So what do you see that might be different tomorrow that you saw today at 12:30?
I definitely we had a whole practice session that we got 2 days ago, or yesterday, not 2 days ago, and I had a lot of stuff written down from that, and then I watched all the other guys their practice sessions as well, kind of see what their ideas and how they wanted to attack the lanes.
Okay.
And then one of my teammates, he was bowling actually earlier this morning before me, so I got to watch most of his games and see how he was attacking the lanes. Some of the pros around him were attacking the lanes and finding success. So I have another buddy right now on our team that's bowling currently tonight's squad. So seeing how they're playing them and just kind of taking notes as things are happening and plan to use that as an advantage going into tomorrow and just try and execute what I think is going to work.
Did you get a little intimidated by watching all these people you see on TV? Because if I was in your shoes, I would be right now going, like Domo walking by and be like, excuse me?
No, I wouldn't say it's intimidating.
Like that,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because these are people you look up to when you're younger and everything. And now it's man, I'm out here bowling with them, and it almost makes you want to bowl better and just compete and just see where you stand kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not even I'm scared. It's I just want to see and just go out and do it,
Yeah. Well, I bowled one time in a pro-am with up in here in Forest Hill, Maryland, with Walter Ray was bowling with and Tim Chris, and I threw one down this, I threw it straight and hard down the fashion way, and I must have got a strike. And Walter came up to me and goes, "That sounds like Mark Rolfe right there." I'm like, I just go. I don't have a traditional style like I just get up there and chuck it because when I was a kid growing up, Mark Rolfe was the guy that I grew up watching because I thought it was cool to watch him just chuck it. And then when I got older, I tried to be a little more finesse, a little bit like a little Jason Couch, a little bit, a little here, But for you, it's like, you bowl with two hands, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So watching Belmo bowling with two hands, I was amazed by last night that he went on the documentary. He knows how. He looks like he's a one-handed bowler with that thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool to be able to like watch them and like see actually like when you're here, like and you're like bowling and competing, like just seeing just the like tiny things that are like in person that you can pick up on that you can't really pick up on camera, and just like seeing how well they execute those like small details at such a high level consistently and just separates them from the rest of the field is just amazing to watch.
Right. Adam, you have a question for
Yeah, so what was it? Just talk about your college bowling at Mount Mercy College, and how that's helped you, now to compete this week at the USBC Masters.
So like Mount Mercy, it's just an environment where we like are a family. That's just like we're all gonna be in each other's lives forever. Like these are people that like I would do anything for. Like I love these guys. Like they're always there for me. I always have their back. They're always gonna have my back. It's just like when I visited this school a couple years ago when I was looking for colleges to go to, it just felt like home to me. Like these are people like I could just be around all the time forever. And that makes a big difference when you're competing as well.
Yeah. Also, I know that you're on Junior Team USA. So
yes,
what's it like for you, wear the red, white, and blue,
it's
representing our country in different events?
It's amazing because it's a good thing because people are always watching you. So it's like, it's just cool to be able to like represent and like be a part of something that like is just things that people dream of doing. And it's like, you're that person. And then hopefully people can look up to you. And it's just like, you get to set that standard for others and just kind of be a role model for others. And I think that's like the best part about it.
Cool.
So what is your schedule like for the rest of the spring, summer? Are you going to bowl more of these, because you're an amateur, so you have to bowl.
Yeah.
You can't really bowl in some of the nationals.
I won't probably bowl any like national stops or anything like that for the summer. I might bowl a regional or two. That's like back home, depending on the schedule. I have a U22 Masters event that's down in Florida coming up in May. I'm going to bowl. And then maybe just some other local like amateur events and stuff that I'll find bowling, just depending on scheduling.
That's cool. Well, I hope you have a good rest of the good luck this week. I hope you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess
some scores tomorrow.
I know 133 is not that bad for your first time bowling in the.
This is year two because I bowled last year and like the burn squad that I bowled on last year, it was kind of what hurt me the most and like was kind of a big reason like I felt like I ended up not making it. So just the improvement from score wise on the burn squad is already enough for me, and just knowing that I have the potential and finding a way to score the next 2 days and still have a chance, it's just motivation going into the next 2 days.
Yeah, well, you got to bowl like maybe 6 300 games tomorrow.
Maybe. I think if I can find a way to average 225 the rest of the tournament, I'll be good to get into the bracket. Maybe even just 220 to cash, get a check, which would be nice. So
you're allowed to get a check even if you're an amateur.
Yeah, because with the NAIA remove like the restrictions and everything on being able to collect money as.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that's we were not NAIA before. The men's team wasn't for that purpose, and then once that rule kind of went away, we decided we'd join in, compete for NAIA national championships and everything. Now that restrictions, because it's different with women because there's not as many events around for them to make money, so it like makes more sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
But like for the guys, it's like there's money tournaments almost every weekend.
Right. That's
So,
cool.
like,
Well, that's good. You can make a living just for some extra spending cash.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Hey, I'll.
Yeah,
I'll
because we know how college is expensive. So I mean,
Yeah. Very.
So I mean, you can get some tuition money.
Yeah.
In the summertime.
Of
and
course,
go
that's the plan.
Yeah. Hey,
cool.
I wish I was your age. I'm 45. I wish I was in this year. When I was, your age. Because back when I was a kid, we couldn't do this. This was an amateur, and if you're an amateur, you couldn't collect anything. Nothing.
That's true.
Good story. My brother and I were we were going to bowl at men's, like an adult league when we were like 14, 15 years old up in Edgewood, Maryland, up in Hartford County. And my brother Matt was like 9 years old, and he goes, "Oh, I'll bowl with you guys." I'm like, "Okay." And the lady goes, "Well, he can't bowl in the league because if he's accepted money, he'll get his NCAA will call that a violation." And I looked at the lady like, "He's 9 years old."
Yeah.
And I don't think he's playing for the University of Florida when he gets to age 17 years old. Yeah. But that's what the rules were back then. Now you guys I guess a 9-year-old could pick up a $1,000 check or something now.
I mean, I think there's still rules for anyone that's under 18.
Okay.
But like once you hit 18, you're able to start collecting cash.
You're going here.
Yeah. So like when you're under 18, you're collecting like scholarship money and stuff to help go to school, which is nice. But then once you're over 18, you can kind of choose either or.
That's cool. Well, I hope this is not 3 years from now we don't talk to you for another.
No.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed like you guys having me really much.
You're welcome.
We'll keep in touch with you this time. We'll stay a little bit in touch with you and see.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right, man. Have a great time.
Good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
All right,
have a good night.
I see it. Bye. All right,
I can't believe
that was funny.
I can't believe it's been 3 years since he's come on our show.
We've been doing this for a long time, Adam. And
like 4 years.
Yeah, now we're getting to the point that we got to have people on that we had like 3 years ago. We're like,
yeah.
You're like, what are you doing? Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay.
That's crazy time. So I'm checking emails here to see if anybody else has any issues with the link. We apologize. We have nothing on our end for our guests tonight. I guess I'll let StreamYard know what's going on. Maybe they're having issues with their server.
I guess. I mean, all I know is that Chris, I do have some breaking college basketball news.
Go ahead.
It actually just broke. North Carolina has parted ways with head coach Hubert Davis.
Oh, wow.
After what happened with the collapse versus VCU, I knew it was just a matter of time that this was going to happen. So,
well,
and also
that's another coach that left because Coach Williams was there in North Carolina.
He was.
He picked it. Hubert Davis, and I think did they win a national title?
I don't.
Or they came short.
In his first in Hubert Davis's first season, they did make it to the national title game.
Okay, so there's like we just had up in Syracuse.
I was gonna say congrats. I told some friends of mine, and I was like, "Y'all, Jerry McNamara is going home to Syracuse," and they're like, "Huh?" Like, no, you don't get it. He's the perfect fit. And what happened? Jerry McNamara is now the new head coach of the Syracuse Orange, and it's like, so it's like, of course I'm happy for our good friend Dan Tortora.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's, I'm happy for all the Syracuse Orange fans that are out there, and I'm hoping it's the right fit. I know it's hard to take over for a legend like Jim Boeheim, but still, I think Jerry McNamara is the right guy, and I'm hoping he is the right guy.
I hope so too. I hope he is the right guy because it's tough to try to. So we're having another issue with this link here. So here it is.
It's called, Chris, it's called All I know is, when Gabby and Tim come on to talk Red Sox. When I say that, coming up at 9:30. As you guys know, there are bowling fans all over the place. Well, there's one bowling fan that he's originally from Puerto Rico, who's going to join us. And Chris, he messaged you about wanting to come on.
Yeah, well, I did date a person from Puerto Rico, and I know about that country really well. Because I had an opportunity to see what the world is.
Chris.
Yeah.
Is Gabby here?
Not yet, but Tim's here yet. I think Gabby might have maybe she has a problem. Let me give her the link again.
Yeah. I mean, cool. Yeah, but I could introduce Tim.
Yeah, let's bring Tim in. But before we bring him in, we got to talk about opening day baseball, because I know the Red Sox and Reds are playing. Plus, also the Mets are taking on the Pirates. And I was doing some history between the Mets and Pirates. They played each other in 1964 when the Mets played their first ever game at Shea and lost to the Pirates in front of 50,000 fans. And then the Mets won the World Series back in 1986, and they opened up the 87 campaign against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So they had the ring ceremony of the Pirates, with the Mets. Let me put this in here if we can get this in here real quick. We're waiting for both. We got Tim here, but I want to play this real quick here.
Yeah.
But
Mets. We're waiting on.
Yeah, the Mets played a lot. Yeah, the Mets played a lot of home openers against the Pirates over the years. We haven't played the Pirates since 2000. I think I had on this 2002. Was the last time we played them, and the Mets own the best record on opening day.
Okay.
So we have the best record. Guess who has the worst record in opening day?
I'll say this. Is it the Cincinnati Reds?
No. Not Cincinnati Reds, the
Angels.
And the Miami Marlins.
I figured that much out.
Yeah, because the Marlins. Yeah, the Marlins did a lot, for yeah.
Well, it's called. I mean, we can bring in Tim real quick, Chris.
Yeah, let's bring in Tim here, and then when Gabby joins us, because I'm trying to see if the link is working. So let's bring in Tim Daniels from Locked On Reds. So the Reds and Red Sox are going to renew that 75 World Series without Bench and Carl Yastrzemski and all those people. It's going to be the 2026 version of the Reds and Red Sox. So Tim, thanks for joining us tonight. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me. It's a little different nowadays than 75 when these two teams play each other. Not quite the same.
I know you don't have. Well, Johnny Bench is going to be there probably on opening day, but he's not. He's
here and there. He's not in Cincinnati a whole lot. You'll probably see like George Foster. He's around quite a bit.
I would love to talk to George Foster because he was that's the person who the Mets traded for, and actually turned the Mets around a little bit before we got Gary Carter.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't get George Foster in his prime, I don't think Gary Carter would have been there.
Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate you guys having me. Excited to be talking a little opening day baseball and
So let's talk about the opening day with Andru Abbott, your left-handed pitcher, going against the Red Sox. And you're not the first game this year. That's pretty stinks.
They haven't been the first game for a minute, but they still, as long as there's not a lockout or something weird, they're still a guaranteed a home game every opening day. So
right, but it used to be like you guys were the unofficial opening day first game, and then everybody else plays afterwards.
Yeah, well, let's be honest, the Reds have been kind of irrelevant for like 40 years. So
yeah. Well, Adam, you want to bring in your friend?
Yeah. So, folks, speaking of the Reds and Red Sox, let's bring in this young lady who. When I say she's crazy, she's crazy. She's nice. An all-around Boston sports fan, all-around UConn Huskies fan, I think I know what she'll be doing Friday night at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. So, representing the Boston Red Sox, the host of the podcast Boston Balling and Locked on Red Sox. It's crazy, Gabby McGeehan.
That's really nice.
What a introduction.
What intro, yeah.
Well, Gabby, I know it's called. I know you. Let me guess. Do you have UConn winning the national title in both men's and women's NCAA basketball?
That would very much be ideal. I did not put the men's team to win in my bracket. I did put the women's team to win in my bracket, and I don't know if anybody saw the women's score from last night, but it was a real score against Syracuse. The women I'm not worried about. The men's team, on the other hand, I am very worried about, and I don't have them winning. I think I actually put them losing to UCLA in my bracket. So I'm happy to be wrong there, but
I had UConn winning over UCLA. So thank you.
Oh, you did? Well, that's good. At least somebody had faith in us, because I didn't.
Yes, Gabby. But I want to talk about the Red Sox real quick. Since there was a lot of stars from the Red Sox in the World Baseball Classic, led by you had Roman Anthony and Garrett Crochet on Team USA. So do you think all that momentum from the playing in the WBC will carry over to the regular season for the Red Sox?
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping it does. I think, that was a pleasant surprise seeing the Red Sox kind of dominate the WBC in a lot of different capacities. I think for some of the young players like Roman Anthony, Jarren Duran, Cedar Rafaela, guys like that, I think the fact that they performed as well as they did in the WBC, I'm hoping that their confidence level is now up going into the season, because the young players is really the biggest storyline for the Boston Red Sox going into this season. I mean, the Red Sox front office is hoping that the young guys step up and perform this upcoming season. And what they did in the WBC, I think there's, a lot of pressure now on them to kind of carry that over. I have no doubt in my mind that Roman Anthony is going to have a really good season. I think he's so naturally talented, and we're starting to see some of his raw power ability that we didn't really get to see last year a lot. And, he showed a little bit of that in the WBC. So going into this season, I have high expectations for him. Jarren Duran, somebody who had a down year offensively last year, but still provides so much to the game. And it was nice to see him have his big moments on the world stage too. So looking back on it, on the World Baseball Classic and how well the Red Sox performed, you can't help but feel excited about the upcoming season if that's how things are going to go for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like, obviously we know about Roman Anthony, and he had a sensational year last year. So do you think he can grow a little bigger with the team?
Yeah, I do think so. And I think it's interesting because ever since they traded Devers, there was kind of this unspoken thing that Roman Anthony is now the face of the franchise. And I think the Red Sox are really relying on a lot from him. And I think that's one of the biggest risks they might be taking going into this season, is kind of just expecting him to step into that role as being the heart and soul of this Red Sox team. And even with some of the other young guys, I think they're banking a lot on the young players really stepping up in general. And, that could backfire or it could work out really well. And I think Roman's the biggest one where they're kind of seeing him as kind of the main guy, for this team moving forward. He's the leadoff hitter, so they expect a lot from him moving forward. And I do think his future with the Boston Red Sox is really, really bright. Obviously, of course, if he stays healthy, which would be ideal. But, this is a team that really has a special player in Roman, and his plate discipline is just so beyond his years. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that continue to be put on display for him moving forward.
Yeah. Well, Tim, let's talk about the Reds here. They have a couple starting pitchers on the DL, so you got a makeshift rotation right now, going in. So what do you expect from this rotation? Because Hunter Green was supposed to be the guy to start on opening day. He's on the shelf for right now. And then you guys and then Terry Francona in his second year. And I know Gabby knows about Terry Francona in his days in Boston. Yeah, in his second year, he is it right that in his second year you guys won the World Series in the second
First.
or his first year? I can't remember.
Yeah. 04 because was his first year because they fired what's his face in 03.
Right. So yeah. So basically, like when he came from the Phillies he came in with you guys. So Gabby, about Terry Francona and the way he runs the organization. I think he does a great job, and I think what he did with the Reds last year, they almost made the postseason.
They did make the postseason.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they played. Who did they?
It didn't last long.
The Dodgers.
It didn't last too long.
Again, who didn't lose against the Dodgers anyway?
Right.
So to be fair,
but yeah, it's interesting because they're down Hunter Green, and actually, the Red Sox have a very the thing about the Red Sox is obviously really interesting is their struggles against left-handed pitching. So that's where Andrew Abbott comes in for opening day. And then Nick Lodolo, the Reds' other big-time left-handed pitcher, is also injured. So he will not be pitching in this series either. So that's really disappointing. So they're going to go Brady Singer there. So you kind of called it a makeshift rotation. And I guess that's true to an extent because the idea was that they were going to bring six starters in anyway. And kind of have them. So Chase Burns and Rhett Lauder were kind of piggybacking. We're like kind of piggyback off each other. And so now I'm assuming that game plan's out of the way, but it's still a lot of talent. Rhett Lauder didn't pitch at all last year because he battled injury, but he's a first round pick. Chase Burns, everyone saw his electric debut. And I mean, coming out of the gutter, don't ask about the game at Fenway. That was like his one bad start. It made his ERA look really bad when he was really significantly better than he was than that one outing at Fenway where he only lasted a third of an inning. But other than that, he was incredible. He was, what you read he was about. He's a second pick of the draft for a reason. So, it's definitely nerve wracking, but I'm not panicked because if the Reds could afford to have an injury anywhere, it was the starting rotation. It just ideally would not have been your top two guys, but two of your top three, I guess, depending who you talk to.
Yeah. Adam, you want to
do
a question round?
Yes. So, obvious. So first of all, Gabby, I need to come on your Boston Balling podcast
I was
sometime.
gonna say, I like your hat. I like that you're repping the Red Sox.
Thank you. It's called. I need to come on your podcast sometime since I'm from New England and I love talking New England sports. But anyway,
we'll make that happen for sure.
I know he just goes on shows. Like it's funny. We do our show here and then I get off the computer and I'm done for like 2.5 hours. Like I'm relaxing and watching TV and I was like, and I go on Twitter and he's like, I'm talking to Weekend Sports Guy. I'm like, what? Seriously? I'm like,
well,
I know, Adam, it's great. But it's like, I'm thinking I'm done until next week. And he's like, I'm talking to these people. I'm like, okay, have fun.
That's so funny.
Yes, Gabby. With AL East this year, being so good, especially now that Pete Alonso was with the Orioles, the Blue Jays, when the AL East last year, we know about the Yankees. So do you think the AL East is going to be really competitive this year?
Yeah, I think it's hard to look at the landscape of each division in baseball right now and not say that the AL East is one of the toughest divisions to play in for sure. Not thrilled about the idea of the defending American League champion being in my division. And the Yankees are always they're always good. This is going to be a really tough division. Yeah. And I do think, the Yankees, I think the biggest thing for them is going to be health because they do deal with a lot of injuries and, Garrett Cole, who knows what he's going to look like when he comes back. Toronto, obviously they lost Bo Bichette. They showed in the postseason that they can tread water without him, but I'm interested in seeing how the offense does this year without him. They added Dylan Cease. How's that going to go for them? Obviously the Orioles made a really impactful move by bringing in Alonso. So the division improved. The only team that I don't really see being in play here is the Tampa Bay Rays.
I'll agree with that.
I think, that's where it gets challenging because as a Boston Red Sox fan, it's not exactly exciting looking at the other teams in this division and comparing them to the Red Sox. But what I will say is I do think the Red Sox starting rotation is going to win them games. I think, there is an argument to be had that the Red Sox have the best starting rotation in the division, as long as they're healthy. And so I think that's something that the Red Sox do have going for them. And if we see the offense that the Red Sox front office believes in, they can win this division. But it's going to be a gauntlet. It's going to be challenging. I think Toronto is going to be just as good. The Yankees are going to be just as good. The Orioles, I think, that last season, I think, was a fluke. I mean, this is a team that's only a couple of years removed from a 100-win season. I think some of these guys like Gunnar Henderson and company are going to step up this year because, I mean, even Gunnar last year had an off year for him. So I think that's going to change this year. I think, adding Alonso to that lineup is going to be a big boost. So I see 4 teams in the AL East that could potentially contend. And I would not be at all surprised if we see like 3 teams come out of this division again and make playoffs. So it's going to be hard. I think this is going to be a really tough division to be in. Obviously, that almost makes it more fun, but it's going to come down to who can win those inter-division matchups, because that was one of the biggest things last year that kind of separate the Red Sox a little bit from the Blue Jays and Yankees, is because when they were facing those teams, I mean, they couldn't capitalize, especially when they were playing Toronto head-to-head last year. Right. So those are going to be the biggest keys for me, but I'm really looking at this Red Sox starting rotation and feeling like, okay, I can be excited about some of the moves that they made this offseason to add to that rotation. I mean, Ranger Suarez in his postseason numbers, I mean, he has some of the best postseason numbers in baseball, and it's hard to not get excited about that being added into a rotation that already has Garrett Crochet. So if the Red Sox are going to win a lot of games this year, I think that primarily is going to be thanks to the rotation, and whether the offense can keep up is the biggest thing. But I do think they are definitely in a challenging division, and that's no mystery, unfortunately.
Oh, I know, Gabby. I mean, it's like, I'll say this. I think the NL Central is going to be really good this year too. I mean, obviously, Cincinnati made the playoffs.
It's not.
Oh, Jim.
It's not. St. Louis is rebuilding. Pittsburgh's rebuilding.
Pittsburgh's always rebuilding.
Right. Yeah. That's just called.
Gabby, I gotta ask you something here. Okay. I gotta ask you something. If the Pirates get off to a slow start, do you think Paul's their starter going to be traded? Because I feel like they can't pay him. Yeah, they don't have the money in Pittsburgh. It's like down here in Baltimore.
Should.
I don't know how they paid Pete Alonso the money. I'm like, where did you get it? Did you get a small bank somewhere or something? Because they never paid that money before. I feel like, to me, if the Pirates get off to a slow start, and we'll see on Thursday against the Mets, if they come out with a slow start, I don't know what they're going to do, because they're that's their bread and butter right there. They're ace.
They do have a really good starting rotation in general, not just Skeens. I mean, obviously Skeens is the best, best pitcher in the National League for a reason. But they also have, I don't know, it's going to be an interesting year for them, because guys like Connor Griffin are going to be making their big league debut at some point this year, and he's, one of the betting favorites for National League Rookie of the Year. I just don't believe in the Pirates. I just don't think they know how to functionally put an organization together. I say this all the time. Whenever I get the postcast for the rest of the Pirates, I say this every time. Like, I just don't believe in them. I don't until I see them win consistently, I will not buy into it. And so every time I see all these like preseason shows for like, watch out for the Pirates. They got Marcell Ozuna and they got, all these guys. I'm like, I don't believe it, because they're still the Pittsburgh Pirates. You still wear black and yellow jerseys at PNC Park. They're not going to win games.
Well, I will say, I'll just say this. I may be crazy here, but I think the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to go to the playoffs. Somehow, some way, I think they're going to find the.
I'll record this as one of those special things we'll put at the end of the year. And if Adam is right, maybe I have to owe him another sandwich. Get out to Charlotte.
There are always some sleeper teams that kind of surprise everybody. Now, I don't see it being Pittsburgh, but it maybe we'll see.
Yeah. I have to ask, what's coming up on your Boston Balling podcast, Gabby?
Yeah, good question. So that's kind of a show where I kind of touch all the Boston teams, and I like to kind of just kind of spread the love there around all the teams. Lots of Celtics content coming up because they definitely have been a bit of a surprise this year, I would say, without having Tatum until recently. Nobody really thought, I don't think, that they would be where they're at now, and now they have him back, and now it's hard to not feel like they're potentially favorites in the Eastern Conference. So that's kind of a lot of primarily what I'm going to be focusing on in the short term here coming up is Celtics hopeful championship run, because that would be fun.
Yeah, well, don't forget, Gabby, you also have the NFL draft. And don't forget, you also have the NFL draft coming up in about a month too. So,
that'll be interesting to see how that goes for the Pats. I mean, definitely can't say enough about how proud I am of them and the season they had. Because I don't think a single person would have thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl. So that's also exciting to think about kind of the future of what it could be for the Patriots. They definitely have to use their draft picks wisely for sure. But Drake May, love that kid. So much confidence now going forward in him. So it's definitely a fun time to be a Boston sports fan, because then when the Red Sox hopefully win the World Series this year, then it'll really be a full circle thing.
Well, Gabby, here's the thing: the Patriots need to get this guy, DeMar Carter from Virginia. He's a great offensive. I know him because his father used to work with the Mariners, and he's going to be on next. He's going to be the Arena football team. He's going to be on next Tuesday. I think the Patriots should use him as an offensive line to block for May, because he did a great job, in the ACC this year, blocking, the blind side of the guy from North Texas that came there, Morris. Yeah. So maybe they could look at, if the New England Patriots get him, you can say, hey, I give you an idea. Yeah.
I definitely will give you credit for that for sure. Good suggestion.
Yeah, he's a good kid, and we're going to get him on next Tuesday to talk about, because he just had his pro day, and we're going to follow him before the draft and see how he goes. Hopefully he gets picked, in the third round, maybe the fourth round, but he's a good kid, And
it's called Remember Gabby.
That's good to know. That's really good to know.
It's called If You Ever Want Me on Locked On Red Sox or your Boston Ballin podcast, all you have to do is DM me on Twitter.
I will.
Come on.
I definitely will.
If you want me to email you, I'll give his email to you, so it'll probably be easier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Well, Gabby and Tim, thank you so much. We're up against the clock here, but thank you. And I know there's another UConn fan that's watching, my friend Ewan, and he enjoys UConn because he's from Connecticut. So he's the second person I know who loves UConn.
I know what and Gabby.
Wish us good luck, everyone. We definitely could use it.
I know what you'll be doing Friday night at 9:45. You're watching the Sweet 16.
Don't go to the bar this time. Don't go to the bar.
I'll be stressing out about it, but we'll have to
Hey, Gabby, don't go to bar, because I saw your Instagram, your messenger on Twitter. You're like, should I go there? And you're like, to watch the game. And I'm like, how do you just stay home and have popcorn? Just watch the game at home.
I'll be so stressed out. Yeah.
Yes, Gabby, it's called.
Well, Gabby, good luck the rest of the week. Tim, thank you so much for coming on. We'll keep in touch, and thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime. Thanks for having us.
Enjoy opening day, guys. And go Red Sox.
Go Red Sox.
Thanks, Tim. See you, buddy.
Oh,
I think fun.
Gabby loves coming on here, Chris.
Yeah. So
she's crazy. It's called Gabby's Crazy.
Yes, and our friend Ewan's watching, so
hi, Ewan.
Gave him a shout. So.
Oh yeah, Chris. Speaking of baseball, I know that the head coach of McDonogh is a huge Baltimore Orioles fan. So
just giving Gabby some garbage.
I know. So let's bring in Coach Holmes.
I love it.
From McDonogh. So
I love it. I love it. I was looking on the chats for a minute. And I'm like, and I'm thinking like, and Gabby goes.
I had to throw my fandom out there with the O's a little bit.
I love it.
Coach, I love it.
Listen, man, I'm 40. I'm 41 years old. It's been a while since I've been able to be, a loud and proud O's fan. So I'm just hoping the boys make a little bit of a rebound statement this year.
I just love it when you go. I'm a big O's fan too, and Gabby goes, I don't love that, Travis.
I was like, okay.
I gave her a little bit of ammunition for her podcast.
Oh my God.
BU's men's lacrosse team's ranked number 20 in the country right now.
I saw that too. I'm like,
I thought, hey, heck yeah.
We actually have one of our former players there right now, Trey Moore.
Nice.
Okay,
I
I'll
believe
look
is,
out. I'll probably see if I can get him on the show. Probably Maybe I can
junior or senior this year.
Okay.
That time's flying, man. I can't remember.
Nice.
So,
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
this is your first season there at McDonogh. So,
Yeah.
how's the first season going?
So this is my first year as the head coach of the program.
Right.
So I got in the head coach in October, but this is actually my 17th year teaching and coaching here at the school.
Okay. Nice.
I'm also a 2003 alum, so this place has been near and dear to my heart. My family's all here. I'm actually right now, as you can see, I'm in the athletic training room here at school,
Okay. Cool.
which my wife is our head athletic trainer. So it's a great relationship. I break the kids, she fixes them. So it works out well for us.
You just call your wife going, I think my player has a hammy issue.
Something, right?
Can you come out on the field and help me with this thing?
It works out well because the kids can, not that anybody would ever fake an injury, but I would know right away because I got the inside scoop at all times.
Well, you can't fake an injury because you got the head trainers there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Put a Band-Aid on and get out.
And nobody wants to do rehab at home, so that's for sure.
Jeez. So let's talk about the season so far. I know everybody started playing, middle of February without the snow around. Thank God it's all gone. So how's the season so far?
It's good. So right now we are 4-1. We've played 5 games. Opened up our season here against IMG. They made their way north. Good team, well-coached team. Ended up, being a pretty close game. Just overall, pleased with the kids' effort. Being our first home game, and like you guys said, with all the snow and just random weather, just all over the place. Just trying to create some consistency has been a struggle. But I've preached to the kids that it's going to make us better in the long run. Had a tough game against Haverford. They're a great team, coached really well. It's always hard to get off the 2-hour bus ride, getting into Philly and, getting our legs under us right away. And I give them credit, man. They did a great job. They had a great game plan against us. They actually shut off our number one guy, Hunter Metz, who's going to Notre Dame next year, who I think is already at something crazy in 5 games, already has something astronomical in terms of 35 points, I think, already in 5 games. Somewhere in there. I still have to do our last game in terms of what our points were for him, but yeah, it's been great. We just got back from our spring break trip. We did a UNC Duke trip. We go down there probably every other year, go down to watch a Duke or UNC game, whoever's in town, and then always play Durham Academy down there. We played Lake Norman as well. So
yeah,
just some good programs. So
cool. Yeah, I mean, I can say this, Coach. I actually live here in North Carolina. I'm in the western part of North Carolina near Asheville, so it's I know Lake Norman in the Charlotte area because Chris and I also cover the ACC. So every July we go down to Charlotte for the ACC kickoff. So it's I know that UNC and Duke have really good lacrosse teams. In fact, Chris and I know one of the assistant coaches on UNC, Dave Pietramala, and he's actually good friends with the head football coach, some guy named Bill Belichick. I never heard of him.
Yeah, right.
I never heard of him.
Supposedly he's a pretty good coach from what
supposedly is what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave Pietramala is an awesome guy. I got to know him a little bit, just personally through my recruiting process as a player, but was always a great guy to reach out to, talk to, just in terms of the coaching world, being a young coach and then, being lucky enough to be in Baltimore and in Maryland where we have, schools like Johns Hopkins, Maryland, Towson, Loyola, UMBC, just tons of schools for us to, lean on each other as coaches and kind of go watch those guys, do their thing at the highest level. And I've always had so much respect for Coach. I call him Coach Petro. So so much respect for Coach Petro. And it was awesome. I actually got to watch their game against Army on Saturday when we were down there for our trip, and man, he's got the boys as they say, the boys buzzing a little bit down there. So they're getting after it, which is awesome to see for them.
Yeah, cool. We got him on. We like getting him on because it was funny. I talked to Bill Belichick this past summer, at the ACC kickoff. It wasn't like during the interview, after the interviews were over. And I said, what type of friend is Dave Petrovella? Because we had him on the show, and he perked up. He goes, "Oh, Dave's so great. He's a good guy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Cool." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "How you know Dave?" I'm like, "Well, Dave comes on our show." He goes, he gave me this look like, "All right, good stuff." I'm like, "Okay." And I told the story plenty of times, and I know Adam loves his story, but it was funny. I went to the restroom way before the start of the show, Bill Belichick's trip into the media room, and I'm in the stall, and all of a sudden the guy's next to me going, "You want me to take care of this problem?" And I'm thinking like, what the heck is going on around here? So I get out of the stall. Guess who comes out of the other stall? Bill Belichick. And I'm thinking like, "Oh, hi, coach." And he was all like this, like messed up, like this, like he looked like he's been there for 4 hours, I'm like, it's like, jeez. And it's funny, coach. It's funny when he came down the hallway, you thought it was like a Taylor Swift concert or Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
It was like people on both sides of the hallway waiting for him, and I'm walking down going like, people are looking at me. I'm like, all right, everybody's looking at me. Yeah.
True story.
Hey, yeah, Chris Heidel, Herbert Radio. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, they're there for Bill, not for me, but it's okay. Yeah, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, but anyway, this week you guys play boys Latin, and then you have Auspicious Spalding. I guess, can you move your game to Thursdays? It must be nice and warm, like 80 degrees. And then
I know, right? That would be awesome. But we nothing like opening up the MIAA season against Boys Latin on the road. They have an awesome atmosphere. Their kids student section will be going nuts. It's kind of cool. So my senior year, their head coach, Brian Farrell, who's a good friend of mine, was a freshman at Maryland. So we've known each other for a long time. He was actually my younger brother and him were in the same class, and they were roommates when they moved off campus their sophomore year at the University of Maryland. So I've known Farrell for a long time, does a great job. I know they'll be super prepared, and just looking forward to a great competitive game, and starting the MIAA season off hopefully with a win, 1-0, and never looking past anybody. So every game counts just as much. And I truly think this year the MIAA is probably about as even as it's been in the longest time. I think that there's going to be some good teams that don't make the playoffs. Our top 6 make it out of 11. And I really think, the guys that end up being 7 and 8 will be teams that have beaten, the 2 seed or the 3 seed potentially at some point during the year. Just, might have had a bad week or two, and that makes a huge difference in our conference and our league. So,
yeah, that's true. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll try to get you on during the rest of the spring season when you guys are playing, and we'll see how everything goes.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. See ya.
And go Orioles.
That's right. Let's go O's, baby.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, fellas. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Coach Holmes, who's the head coach at McDonogh School, pretty good guy on the show. Talking trash to Gabby. That was cool.
I love it.
I love it. Speaking of talking trash, we're going to head down to Puerto Rico.
Well, actually, I think he's in Texas.
Yeah, well, Puerto Rico / Texas. Well,
yeah, it's called.
Yeah. We're going to go way to Texas to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So, as you know, folks, there's a lot of PBA Tour fans from across the country. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but if you don't know who this gentleman is, he's a PBA, he's a crazy PBA Tour fan like we are. So let's bring in Joey Manuel Nieves.
Maeso.
So, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. And how did you become a fan of the PBA Tour?
That's a great question, and thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. I was watching the 2006 Model 6 Classic. It was Tony Reyes, and he won his only tournament and threw the 15-300 game back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I just became a fan.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, I know Puerto Rico, they're no more for baseball because we know all down there. And I've been down the country and everybody's on top of each other, literally on top of each other. It's like I don't think you have a backyard. I think your backyard's in somebody's porch. That's how they're close together, Adam. We have my backyard is like, good lawn and all that stuff. They don't really have a lawn. It's like you're on top of each other. But
and it's funny because baseball and boxing too.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Like Tito Trinidad in the 90s, Miguel Cotto in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
We love boxing too.
Yeah, that's right. Boxing is a big thing down there. I remember that because the person I went out with, she was a big boxing fan, and her brothers had like we had pay-per-view for wrestling for WWE and all that stuff. They had pay-per-view wrestling boxing matches at their house. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Back then, I remember when I grew up in the 80s, it was Rocky IV, and we have the T-shirt, and then we have the gloves just hitting each other.
We had them too. We had gloves too. And
right?
Yeah, my house, my parents got, there's pictures of us having the old beanbag thing they used to punch at, and it was like Rocky on it. I think it's long gone by now, but Kristen Acuna, I had a chance to speak to him one time. He's the most prominent bowler in Puerto Rico because he won a PBA title in 2018, the Wilmington, North Carolina Extra Frame Open. So what is it like having a guy on the Professional Bowlers Tour who represents, the great country of Puerto Rico, and that once in a while he's on TV?
Yeah, but Kristen Ascona, he's just a great bowler. He has been a little bit off the last couple of years, probably. But yeah, he won in 2018. It was an extra frame. I watched that shit, and it was in July of 2018. Yeah, I love it. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that has won a PBA title, probably a couple of regionals. But there's more accomplished players. Like back then, we have Francisco Colon. He was, very good with national team. And Jan Francisco Perez has been with the national team with him for the last probably 20 years. And he's doing great lately. He can win a title, and he can be a mayor.
Right. I think what Kristen does, like you said, bowling is not, it's getting there down there in Puerto Rico, but it's not the major sport. Like we talk about baseball and basket and boxing and all that stuff. But for you, you had a chance to see the Players' Championship this year in Texas, and that's how I found out because Jeff Riggles, our friend, and I was like, I would love to know what is what a strike in Spanish is, because I think that would be really cool to hear.
The fun fact, I talked to Tom Clark. He's just a nice guy, and I said I want to do the PBA broadcast in Spanish for Hispanic community, and he says, "You have a business card?" Yes, I do. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it will be. I think. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, because there's a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of Hispanic speakers who love bowling.
There are.
Yeah. And no offense to Richard Allen and Kyle Sherman and everybody else we know, Dave Ryan and Dave Lamont, but I know their Spanish is not good.
Yeah, definitely. And what I'm thinking is doing at the same time, or maybe one day just do 6 frames with them or something to start doing that thing. But if we can add 20% of revenue to the PBA with Hispanic people, that would be good.
Yeah,
sure.
Good. Yeah,
I would listen.
Yeah, I'll definitely want to hear what a strike sounds like in Spanish. I think.
They say it's carga. That's scary.
Okay, that works. Okay,
cool,
nice. Because I sent a message to Jeff when you were talking about it, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to hear a ham bone in Spanish."
I would. Yeah. That'd
be fun to hear.
That's good that you say that, because I remember when Robson came, he has a lot of haters first.
Yeah.
But he's just great. He has just the great personality.
Right.
And then people love it.
Yeah.
So another reason we're on, you're a big Met fan like myself, because I was born in Oceanside, New York, and you started watching the Mets, when the same year in '86 when we won the title.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to find one. I'm 45 years old, and hopefully maybe by the time I'm 50, we might win one. We don't know, But what did the Mets draw to you to become a fan? Because I grew up watching Gary Carter and Devil Strawberry. My dad had season tickets back when we weren't even a figment of his imagination when he saw the '73 World Series with the A's are in town. And he was behind home plate with Allen and heard Tom Seaver with the fastball and Nolan Ryan and all that stuff. So how did you become a Mets fan?
Well, in Puerto Rico back then, we have the Mets on TV, the Cubs, and the Braves.
Really?
That was cable TV. So in '86, I watched a little bit of the World Series. So Sid Fernandez, Dwight Gooden, Ron Darling, Lenny Dykstra, Wally Backman, Rafael Santana, Kevin Morenos. And I fell in love with that. I says, oh shit, I love this sport. So I start playing baseball, and I'm 5'4", so I'm short, but I was like Nolan Ryan leg kick, and I fell in love with that.
Nice. Wow. I got a chance when I've been doing this podcast and radio stuff for years, and my friend Ewan and Adam, and I had a chance to talk to Mookie Wilson. I had a chance to Davey Johnson way before he passed away. It was back in a Ken Singleton golf tournament.
Yeah.
So the picture of me talking to him and Gary Carter, who I idolized when I was a kid growing up, and the kid is and I was interviewing him one day, and Joey, and his clubs for falling off the golf cart. So I'm sitting here with my foot, holding Gary's clubs up with my foot, talking to him with a recorder. And Gary turns over, looks at me, and goes, "Nice."
And it was fun because I was watching after I talked to you. You said to the Mets. I start watching what's going on with the Mets right now because I want to be knowledge when I go into an interview. Mm-hmm. And it was funny that they said, they have the Juan Soto and Lindor feud or the stuff. Whose fault is it? And they said, you don't have to be friends. 1986, they have a lot of, feud, amphetamines, other stuff, drugs. It's hard, but you don't have to just get along in the field and in the clubhouse.
Right. Well, we know the story about, and Adam probably knows this, back in the 30-30, Gary, Gary sleeping. And Lenny starts knocking on the door at 2 a.m, and people don't realize you don't wake up Gary Carter. Okay, you woke up Gary Carter. Gary, and this is a true story, Adam. He grabs him by the collar and goes, "You're going to bed now." And Lenny was like, the next couple of days were scared out of his mind because Gary is just such a religious guy, and I talked to Ray Knight about Gary Carter, and Ray has stories that he didn't want to tell me because it's personal to him. But seeing Carter doing that, I'm like, wow.
No, and sometimes you have to push people like, hey, slow down, motherfucker. Yeah. Slow down, bro. Like now in the clubhouse, I love Carlos Mendoza. I think he's a great guy. He's knowledgeable. He's a great dude. But I don't think, and this is my opinion, and it can be controversy, I don't think he has the balls to be in that clubhouse.
Well, we'll see. Like 2024, he did okay. We just got hot at the right time until we ran, against the Dodgers. And last year, with the stuff we're hearing in the off season of the, the Squirrel and Lindor.
Oh yeah.
Fighting over who's being elected the president of the United States. To me, it's like that's not the clubhouse you need to be talking about.
And they talk about that they said that McNeil was mad all the time, and then it was like, chill down, bro. We need the clubhouse.
Right. Exactly. I know Matt, are you there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I know you're a big Yankee fan. So, but in Puerto Rico, Joey, is the Yankees loved too down there, or is it more or less more Met fans?
So that's a question for me or for him?
For you, I'm going to ask you the question because he's a Yankee guy. Is there a lot of Yankee fans down in Puerto Rico? Because I know my girlfriend was a Yankee.
Yes, and I used to hate the Yankees. That's stupid. But in the 2000s, we have Jorge Posada, we have Bernie Williams, from Puerto Rico, and he's a guitar player and a good one.
Yes, he is a very good one.
Yeah.
So I just love sports.
Yeah, that's cool. Go ahead, Matt. You have a question for him?
Yeah.
Matt?
Shoot me.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so I mean, just talk about how those players have impacted the game of baseball, whether it's been with the Yankees or the Mets or other teams, because they've had a huge impact.
Yeah, but Puerto Ricans, we're passionate, and we are good players. Great players. Like I said, in the 80s, we have great players. In the 90s, we have in Texas, we have Poch Rodriguez and Igor Gonzalez, passionate. In the 2000s, we have Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, Ruben Sierra.
Yes.
Ruben Sierra, and he was a great singer too. He has a production of salsa, so we are passionate, and we love the game, and that's how we impact the clubhouse, and that's we impact teams. Now, Lindor, in my opinion, he has to be the captain. That's just me.
Right.
He deserves it.
I agree. Well, Joey, we're up against the clock here, but I appreciate you coming on tonight. I really do. And we'll try to make this not a weekly thing, but we'll check in with you during the season of baseball and see how you think about, Puerto Rico and how the Mets are doing and your take. Real quick, do you think the Mets are going to beat Paul Skeens on Thursday?
Oh, shit. Paul Skeens he's like Steven Strasburg right now. Yeah, he's unhittable. But you never know. They have now, Luis Roberts. If he come up right, it will be it's a great addition. I love Brett Beatty. I don't know why they don't use it a little bit more, but I think we have a great team. We are going to win 85 to 90 games, maybe the wild card.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, okay?
We love you guys.
All right, man.
Thanks,
Talk to you soon.
Have a great night.
You
Thank
too.
Thank you.
All right. That's Joey Manuel. Let me get his last name here real quick here. I could do it.
Joey Manuel Nieves Maeso.
Yeah, and Adam, you need to understand about Puerto Rico. They have long last names.
I know they do.
And the story is, they, when you got married, you still keep your mom's maiden last name.
That's what I've heard.
So the ex-girlfriend kept her mother's maiden name along with the last name that she is right now. We're not mentioning any names on the program because I don't need any problems. Right, Adam? Right, Matt? Yeah.
Can we, or Chris, are you willing to say what the first letter of the person's first name is?
Nope.
It's Mary Tyler Moore.
That's right. Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
I know who it is, but I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yes or no?
Adam.
What?
Yeah.
You're
I know who it is.
Both you guys are funny.
I know. Well, before we go, I know yesterday was the 23rd of March, and if you guys love movies, this was actually came out on that March 23rd, 1984. Yeah, so let's play it, and you probably will laugh about this movie.
Crime. The city was full of it.
Hey! Free TVs!
Desperate measures were needed.
Want you to go to the police academy.
The police academy is such a dangerous place.
Honey, don't worry.
Desperate measures were taken.
I'm joining the police force! Ah!
The mayor says we have to take this riffraff.
I'm trapped here?
Well, yes. We all are.
What about guns? When do we get guns?
You will be schooled in firearms, police procedures, local laws, and many, many other things. High-speed driving. And self-defense.
I need a volunteer.
That's me! I'd love to go.
Police Academy.
Where did you get this gun?
My mom gave it to me.
Mister, I am warning you, high tower!
They're lean. mean.
Does the radio bother you? I can turn it down.
Obscene. Each and every one of them striving to defend.
You make me sick.
Thank you, sir. I make everybody sick. See the thighs.
Or offend.
Come on. I haven't got all day. The thighs.
And now that they're ready for the real world,
Give me the thing!
crime is no longer the #1 problem. They are.
Can you get my kitty cat out of the tree?
No problem, ma'am.
Police Academy.
I remember that movie.
Yeah, it's funny stuff, dude. I love that Bubba Smith was in that movie. The guy who used to play
that's
Holmes.
right.
Yeah, that was funny stuff. I love that movie. So it came out yesterday in 1984. So,
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. Oh man, there's good movies back then, there, bud. So, yeah.
It's been crazy tonight too.
Yeah.
At least we got everything kind of working, but we made it through another show, Chris.
We did a good show. We had appreciation people coming on tonight.
Yeah, it's called with Gabby on.
Yes. I'm glad we have them on. Speaking of coming on, before we go, Towson over the weekend got swept by Campbell.
They did.
Yeah, so they're still trying to. They haven't won an CAA game this year, Matt. They're 0-9.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, they're running into. They're not getting that timely hitting.
No.
You know, and that's what happens in baseball. You can't get. You need to get that one hit that could bring a couple runs in, and some innings they have big innings they give up. You know.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think that they have to improve on?
I think they don't. They should get out of the first inning instead of giving up 4 or 5 runs in the first inning.
True. Yeah.
Because if you give up 4 or 5 runs in the first inning, you're behind the 8 ball.
That's true.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're going to wrap up the show here. Next week we'll have Jamar Carter joining us from the University of Virginia. We'll talk to him about his pro day, get him ready for the NFL draft. So hopefully he gets himself drafted by an NFL team. Maybe New England, or maybe the Buffalo Bills might want to get him. But he's a good. We saw him, Adam, down there in the ACC championship game. Yeah,
we did against Duke. Yeah, we did.
Yes. So anyway, before we go, we'll be on the show next Tuesday night at 7:30. We'll get him on early, the first installment. Next Tuesday. So we'll hopefully everybody enjoys opening day on Thursday. Pirates on opening day in their history of their franchise, they're 80-63. And
it'll be God. You know who I'm pulling for to win on Thursday between the Mets and the Pirates, Chris?
Yes, the New York Metropolitans.
Yeah, because
Braves. I gotta say, the Braves have a new media outlet, the Braves Vision. Are you going to get that for your?
I think I've got it. It's called. I'll look this week, and
it's pretty cool. They're bringing back the old Turner Sports.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was really cool. Before we go, guess who's? I want to say somebody. We got to say welcome back. This guy is back recording music.
Real? Neil Diamond?
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah, so here's what the story is. He recorded these songs in 2007 with Rick Rubin, and this is the 3rd installment after 12 songs and the other album he had before that.
Okay.
And so I guess he recorded these songs. Him and Rick Rubin came together over the last year and mixed it, put it together, and the album's called Wild Heart. And we will play a half of the brand new song to end the show because we are the unofficial Neil Diamond station. So
Nice.
here's Neil Diamond with Wild Heart doing a brand new, and the album's coming out in May. So if folks want to get it, I hope you enjoy it. So here's Neil. So welcome back, Neil. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.
One side of me is warm and quiet, the other side runs hot and cold. Part of me is plain defiant, loud and rowdy and hard to hold. Thought it was 'cause I was just a man. Now I know it's just the way I am. Wild at heart, ready for a rodeo, heading out for parts unknown. That's the only way I'm gone. Taking on a fight when I don't rightly play a part. And it ain't easy being wild at heart. One side of you is soft and pleasing, other side that won't be touched. Got a side that don't come easy. Get too close, it might get rough. I could tell you were more than the usual girl, more than a pretty dress and fancy curls. One side of me is warm and quiet, the other side runs hot and cold. Part of me is plain defiant, loud and rowdy and hard to hold. Thought it was 'cause I was just a man. Now I know it's just